Hey, onesies, Josh Williams here, and thanks for checking out this week's episode of the One Man Podcast. It's always free and available on iTunes, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Play Music, and many more, as well as on the web at onemanpodcast.com. So please, whatever platform you're listening on, like and subscribe. While you're at it, give it a rating, leave a review. Why? Because it helps the podcast, and I'd really appreciate it. How about that? What about social media? Search One Man Podcast on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube to keep up with what's going on there. Get a little extra content for yourself. And finally, to get in touch, please send your emails to contact@onemanpodcast.com. You send it, I read it on the podcast. That's the deal. Thanks for listening, guys, and I hope you enjoy this week's episode.
What's up, guys? This is comedian Paul Verzi, and you are listening to the One Man Podcast. Yeah!
Hey, it's Josh Williams, and welcome to the One Man Podcast, episode number 114 for Wednesday, July 17th, 2019. How's it going, onesies? You guys having a good week so far? This one's going to be on time for you. Last week was a little late in the day Wednesday. I don't know if that technically counts as late because I had it in the afternoon, but it's still available. With me today, guys, we're going to be talking about all sorts of different things, but a good friend of mine who I haven't seen in a while and certainly haven't been able to sit down with in a while, my buddy Jimmy.
Hi.
Welcome. Jimmy, one of my best friends in the entire world, everybody. And we're going to shoot the shit. I know that you guys always appreciate when I have another person on. Some people like to just bitch that it's supposed to be a one-man podcast and there's two guys. Well, you know what? It's bonus, right? You go into the booze store for a bottle of booze and they have an extra fucking little bottle hanging off the neck. You're not like,
I'm definitely the little bottle.
You're the little bottle?
I'm definitely the little bottle.
So I'm saying, so I got an extra friend here with me this week, and we're going to be shooting the shit. I'm going to tell you guys about some activations that I did. I've been kind of, here's the thing. I got a lot on the go, but I've really been making the most of downtime. To say there is no downtime, but I've been making some room for myself downtime.
You got to do that every now and then.
Yeah, dude. Speaking of, not having a lot of time and a lot of things to go, you got two fucking chilling now, eh?
I do.
Yeah.
Yeah. They keep us very, very busy. Ryan's at that Terrible Twos. He's still got the Terrible Twos are there, but he's half sweet still.
Yeah.
So it balances everything out.
How long has he been to?
Well, since May. So he's a couple months into twos. I heard there's the Terrible Threes too. I've heard this.
Yeah, that's just what happens when people need more attention for the kid.
I think they're just kids. I don't think it's Terrible Twos or Threes. They're just discovering themselves, and they're now able to like actually communicate something with you. So when he says, I want something, he doesn't quite grasp you can't have chocolate chips for breakfast.
Yeah.
Sometimes you can, sometimes you can't.
Right. Well, the whole concept is kids live a lot more like animals do, in the sense that an animal isn't like, hey, if I lay around all day, it's maybe going to be harder to find food later.
So
but
no
if I eat this
process.
there's no time frame. The concept of time is still foreign to them. So if you eat chocolate chips, you're going to get a stomach ache later. What the fuck is later? Chocolate, good now, later, cry. It doesn't matter. There's no now. That's what's interesting about kids. It's like, and as adults, we're like, no, it's going to give you a stomach ache. You're like, what's this bitch talking about? You know what I mean? In my mouth I taste happy right now.
That's true. It's instant gratification.
Right. There's no, like tell a kid like, hey, maybe don't buy an extra toy now and we'll put it in a college fund for you, and just look at his eyes and go, all right, why aren't you grasping, the whole concept of compounded
There's a
income and
limousine
investments?
story that my mom would agree with you on that. When I was, I'm gonna say like 5 or 6.
Yeah.
We went into, I believe it was the Byway.
I remember that.
I believe it was. And
That was like the giant tiger of giant tigers.
Well, it's a little higher class than that. Okay?
You think so?
No.
They're out of business now, and Giant Tiger isn't. I think that's something.
Because they maximized all profits and said, we're good and that's it. We're out. But anyways, the limousine, I basically had the world's largest meltdown because I had to have this limousine now.
For what? Just to own a limousine?
Just to have it. I liked it. It was a white limousine. It was long, had orange windows. I had to have it.
Was it a toy or a real limousine?
No, it was a toy.
Okay. Well, that's what I didn't get, because I'm like...
At the Byway? I just told you it was at the Byway. You can't buy a real limousine at the Byway.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I've been zoning out. I'm making
You're
notes.
just not listening to me again.
It's okay. I'll listen to it later. That's why we're recording it.
Instant gratification. Here's the
Instant
story
gratification, man. There is no later. There's no... I'm not
But
invested in that.
anyways, to roll it back,
Yeah.
I think...
That's a Walmart term, not Byway.
Oh my God. Okay.
Or you're at Byway, you got to have this limousine, white limousine, orange windows.
We were talking about how kids need instant gratification.
Of course.
That, when they're hungry, they're hungry. When they're tired, they're tired. That, well, actually, no, when they're tired, they don't want to go to bed. But anyways. Yeah, no, so I think the terrible twos, as they call it, and stuff like that, it's new to them. So we call it terrible because we're not used to it. But
yeah, now they can communicate better what they want.
I know terrible 30s,
Yeah. I don't think I'm going to live to 40s.
So you won't have to go through that.
I'm like, exactly. So that's why I'm living it up right now. Am I living it up? I got to put this thing on. Oh, thank God it's on silent because I'm getting text messages right now. They'd be bleeding right into the podcast. So your kids, and you have a second one.
Yes.
But you guys are basically.
She's just over 10 months, and she's doing everything she can. She's like starting to like crawl up on things now.
Yeah.
So like the first step, and the couches and chairs and all that stuff. So she's doing her best to make sure that we're watching her 24 hours a day.
Yeah. Why don't you just put them in a cage?
I'll let my wife know that's going to be the better way.
She's listening. Put them in a fucking cage, Alex. If you need a goddamn, you need a glass of wine to yourself, put them in a cage, and I'll tell you what, you put them in a cage. Well, you can't really Instagram pictures. I was going to say, they're going to do all these little cute look, I'm a puppy in a cage, and you can take Instagram pictures because I know you love to do that, and then just post them.
You're talking to her.
Yeah, I'm not talking
to her. I think I have like 10.
No, you got a life to live. I'm joking.
She's just sharing her life that she.
I know,
and I know you truly appreciate it.
I do. I appreciate. Do you know what? Your wife is actually teaching me fractions again.
Okay.
Because it used to be that you would celebrate a birthday. Now we're celebrating not only months, but every happy 30-second. I was going to say week. Yeah, there's 56. Yeah, that works. I was going to say 30. I'm like, there's not 30-second weeks. Of course there is. See, I'm learning weeks and a time frames. I'm telling you guys, every day is a celebration on your wife's Instagram feed. I can't believe it's already been 9/67ths of a fucking.
Isn't every day a celebration?
I guess that's why they call it the present. Your wife's a basic bitch, is what I'm saying. Alex, he legitimately was surprised. Normally, you could take a little dig like that, and the husband will give a look like you might get. I think he was surprised. Jim, what happened to you? Remember when you used to like jokes? Remember when you get a shock team? Wasn't it us like 5 minutes ago farting into the microphone before the podcast and laughing that we could?
Fart humor is always funny.
Dude, nobody.
Calling my wife a basic bitch to me.
I'm just saying if I said she's basic, I don't know if she would have got that. And I think
what? Funny. The other thing is I don't understand terms these days.
Oh, it just means like
fire, all these things. I don't get it.
You used to be the guy who, like, every Friday when we go to hang out, you were the first one saying a bunch of stuff that Mika and I didn't understand. You'd be like, that's fucking
sweet?
What it is or whatever, but you'd be like, what and like you'd be the guy who just heard like a new Cardinal Official song and then Googled what the fuck he was saying in it, and then
Google didn't exist back then.
I'm sure, well, some form of it.
I actually talked to people.
Yeah, no, I couldn't talk to people that talked like that because I'm like, what an idiot. And then Jimmy would come and explain to us, like just whatever you were saying. And it was fun. It was
good times.
But I'm just saying, for a guy who used to be like, it was almost like, see, nowadays you would have a newsletter subscription to the new words every day.
I canceled my subscriptions to What's Up Now and all that stuff. Yeah.
What's Up Now a thing? Or was that just okay. I thought you made it up, but I'm like, you know what? It might be.
See, that's the problem. It sounds like it could work.
Yeah.
Well, somebody probably will at this point, but I do know what they mean because I'm inquisitive. I have to ask the people when someone's like, "Oh, that shit's fleek, man." Sorry, what?
Everything's fire now. Everyone's fire. Fire.
Yeah, that's fire and everything. And like to me, in our day, when someone was lit, it meant something totally different.
You mean they were drunk?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now so and so, that's lit. I'm like, what? What is he okay?
It's the hottest thing in the world now.
Yeah. I don't get it.
It's and the things change. Like I'm actually having more fun bringing back like the Super World shit. Like when someone's like, "How you doing?" I'm like, "I'm groovy, man." Rad, groovy.
I can't do rad.
What's another one? There's a lot of those ones. The old school jive terms. You know what I mean?
Catch you on the flip side. Those kind of things.
Yeah, I guess, but I just mean like, how are you? Radical, groovy, gnarly. There's another one that I knew there was a G one, but it didn't sound like a G. That's what it is, gnarly. But just kind of shit like that.
We've hit every one that I know.
Oh, really?
Rad, groovy, gnarly.
Dope. Dope is coming back. Dope used to be like 90s. That was dope.
Dope.
And some people will be like, "Oh, that's dope."
Yeah, there's been a couple situations that I've chatted with some young folk, and they've said certain things like that. Oh, dope. I'm like, now I understand how my parents felt when I said it, and they looked at me like that. I get it.
Well, getting back to your wife, the basic. No, I'm kidding. I'm just joking. That's so basic is like if you think of like a stereotypical white chick.
Yes, I know what it
Maybe
means.
it's not even okay. Sorry,
I do know what it means, but it's just not a term I would use.
For Lex or in general.
It's like just in general.
I don't know what the. It's hard for me to describe things now because I'll try to do it, in an articulate way, and then everyone's like, "What?" And you just go, "Boom." I'll tell you one that bothers me, and I'm sure it bothers everybody. But I notice even myself doing it now, not as much, but everybody's saying literally now. It used to be that if someone said literally, you'd correct them, and everyone is using literally figuratively now, and it's a little annoying. But
I'm literally dying right now.
oh my god! All you have to literally just go to your computer and search it, or like everything's literally, but it's. You could say all you have to do is go to your computer. All you have to literally do. It's like, well, that's what literally is the actual doing or whatever. Excuse me.
I think there must have been like an equivalent back then, because I think when people use that term, literally just go there. They're frustrated with you.
Basically, just have to go there. Like, you simply have to go there.
Yeah.
You
like I've given instructions or describing something for whomever it may be to go grab something or whatever. Be like, it's on the floor beside the front door.
Right.
Oh, I don't see it. It's literally beside the front door. Like, that's when I'll throw it in.
Yeah.
But I think that people use the term literally when they're trying to prove something. Like,
yeah, like they're like, I mean it. It's almost like, I honestly mean this. It's like, I literally mean blah, blah, blah. It's like, so you can hear a lot of it. The funny thing is that like before you'd be like, oh, like there's this huge pile of shit in my living room. Like, there's literally a pile of shit. Like it used to be that people were overly hyperbolous before where it's like, I don't know, are you exaggerating? It's like, no, literally, this is what I'm saying. It's exactly that. And now people use literally in the hyperbolous and whatever wrong way. Doesn't matter. We're not changing anything. Legit bothers me too. It's like, I legit, it's like, what are you so dishonest that you have to basically have someone, you have to literally have someone be like, legitimately, like I legit had the best time. So if you said you had a good time, I'd be like, really, did you? I'm very insecure and I need you to legitimately tell me that you had a good time and it was enjoying. Yeah. What is she texting you? Like she heard us? We haven't even posted this yet.
It's actually my mom.
Oh,
yeah.
Can we ask how she's doing? She's doing okay?
She's doing actually really, really well, which is great.
Yeah.
No, she just texted me, can't get the F key out of the lock on the front door. Been giving me trouble recently.
Fucking key? Did she put F or fucking?
No, as F ... exclamation point.
Right, yeah.
Because she's proper. She's literally not swearing. Yeah, so I have to go and fix that door. Not like,
well, there you go. So
okay, well, good talking to you. See you later.
Yeah, exactly. I literally have to go.
I literally have to go out.
The fun thing. So, anyways, okay. So you guys are having fun with the kiddos. We're getting pictures. I'm seeing them grow.
Yes.
All my listeners, of course, in Sweden and so on, are like, "Who is this? That's a Jimmy." They don't even know who I am yet because they're listening to their third episode randomly.
Welcome, Sweden.
Welcome, Sweden. I still want to give a shout out to my East Coast onesies. Nova Scotia is my biggest listenership right now in Canada.
I really want to go to the East Coast. Never been. I've been West. I've been Central. I've been everything. I have not been East. I have heard amazing thing about the East Coast. Like people being so polite.
Dude, it's unreal. It's fucking unreal. And it's gorgeous. It's fucking gorgeous.
So I think my next, I guess if you want to call it, big.
Well,
trip.
If Ryan's 2, you went in 16 years, you can plan. How do you feel about that? Like, again, I'm treating this more like an interview than me.
This isn't like an interview. I feel like kind of like a celebrity.
A celebrity.
Like, big stars coming around.
Okay, so like, again, you've heard this podcast before in the beginning. I get pretty open about shit. I don't have any, there's no like, nothing's off limits for me. So just to ask you, and feel free not to answer anything you don't feel comfortable with, but how does it feel now? Like I'm
so curious where this is going.
Yeah. Well, because I want to ask, and I'm afraid if I ask blunt, that's something I've been struggling with lately more and more, right? Because when we were young in high school, you're someone who's known me forever. Mm-hmm. When we were young in high school, the amount of times, I've mentioned this on the podcast.
Do you know how many times we've had to like calm people down because they're like, what did he mean by that?
Yeah.
It was all these things. No. Like he's a good guy. He didn't mean it this way.
Yeah.
He was just very, I know exactly where you're going with this now.
So I've had issues. And even lately, like regular conversations with people, it was good for a long time and it would only happen occasionally. But as of late, I'm starting to get back into that whole, like, I seem to be misrepresenting what it is I'm trying to ask or what I'm trying to express.
Okay. So like, You know, like furnace filters?
Yes.
You know how they have like levels of furnace filters?
No.
There's like,
You mean like you can put a big one in, or you can stack 3 little ones on it?
no, like each one, like the tight grains through it, right? So it like stops like allergens and all these things like that.
Okay.
That's most people.
Okay.
And then you have like I'm not saying you're
No. I'm
just saying that. Then you have like the fiberglass mesh, which is, it lets a lot of stuff through. It holds back some things, like big chunks of dust and stuff.
Yeah, like the N-word. No, I'm kidding.
That's
I'm
you.
just joking.
You're a filter. You have a
Yeah.
filter, and there are certain things that you know morally you shouldn't say.
Right.
But you do let a lot of stuff through that maybe you shouldn't.
I don't mind talking about taboo shit. Like I can actually tell you, there was
Clearly.
a kid that I spoke to. I don't know how much I'm not going to say his name, but I want to talk about him because he was 16. We did an activation with him. He was 16, but I'll get to that later. And then I'll let you be my moral compass if I'm saying too much or too little.
Like
but
the voice on your shoulder.
I
going,
don't. Yeah, it's dead. It's already ate its feelings and died of obesity. But no, the issue, the thing that I have is I know when I'm like talking about shit that's taboo, and that's not so much like that I agree with you. That's my filter where it's like other people are like, you can't talk about that right now. I'm like, yeah, I just did. I don't have a problem with that. And I know that those things are polarizing. But I mean, when I'm having like a sincere conversation with something about like feelings or whatever, it's not a taboo subject, but I find myself trying to express things and it's still coming across the wrong way. I don't know if it has to do with trust or an insecurity in me or the other person, but all I know is that if I ask something or talk about something as of late, I feel like
Well,
it's
people have
misread.
different levels, right? Like,
Right.
Like certain people you can talk anything.
Right.
Other people, there's a few subjects, obviously, you know, like the religion, the politics, all the typical don't talk about these things.
Right.
And then there's the others who are like, don't talk about anything.
Yeah.
And I find society's really turning more into that don't talk. It's like you don't want to offend anybody.
Well, everyone's afraid. If you say the wrong thing, you can lose your job or,
Yeah.
you get fired or whatever. It's interesting. So the reason I prefaced all of that is that I want to ask you a question, but I don't want it to come across as a negative or that I've made a judgment of this. Okay. I'm more interested in your feelings because I can't speak to it.
Yep.
You are a dad now.
Yes.
You were cool hip Jimmy, and I'm not suggesting whatever. I don't give a fuck. I'll ask a question. You have to trust that my heart's in the right place. Is you
Here's
were
that filter thing.
cool hip Jimmy,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
The guy who's never going to die. The guy who I recall at very young age sliding off the roof of a very high play structure,
How did I
hit
know
the
you were gonna
ground.
bring that?
Right? I don't know. I thought in my head. I'm trying to think of like dude. If there was a real life Fast and the Furious character on foot, like Crank or whatever it is, like no, just you were this never gonna die guy, and the man sitting across from the table from me today. No, I'm just I'm joking.
Now he's balding and wearing
no.
glasses and
I just want to say like how you're not done by a long shot, but you had this energy. This I want to ask you how different do you feel now? How has the whole change been? Are you hitting any insecurities? Are you hitting any coping shit? Like,
Absolutely. Growing older, the thing is, when I was 18, I didn't go through anything in life. All I knew was party, fun, do all that stuff. So of course I'm not going to say the life of the party, but I surely enjoyed going to, the parties, having fun, doing all that stuff and have energy. I mean, as you go through life, you start getting a whole bunch more experiences, which really kind of relax you as a person. I mean,
makes you value things differently.
yeah, I mean, hopefully,
Yeah.
But I think that, come life experience, come more subtleties of life, like certain things will mean more to you than other things.
Right.
And, going to a club and getting shittered and, having fun and cruising all night and stuff like that really aren't on my top priority list anymore.
Right.
I mean, it's still in you.
Right.
Still have that, but not what it used to be.
It's not fostered and cultivated, curated the way it was.
No.
Because that's the thing.
Thank God, because
Yeah?
there's nothing sadder than 40-year-olds who are like that. Sorry if you're a 40-year-old and you like that. But
Jason's 52. He's not here. Oh, I don't give a fuck. I've said it to his face.
I like Jason a lot.
It's interesting because when I know that when we were in high school, I think it's safe to say both you and I were particularly materialistic people. Like we liked, I liked having electronics. I liked having things and tangible stuff, video games.
Sure.
You liked shoes and cars and clothes and watches and things like.
Oh yeah. No, I did it.
But I'm saying we valued having things, right?
100%.
Yeah. Whereas like, I don't know if Mika was as much.
No, Mika was always like the humble guy, and that's why like girls always thought he was like, oh my god, Mika, he's so sweet, he's so like that was his approach on things. I pretty sure you and I were called many more names than he was.
You think so?
Absolutely, absolutely. Mika wouldn't. If he upset somebody, he was upset.
Right.
We didn't have that.
I did, but I didn't show it. I would break down alone. I never liked hurting people.
So you were like fake?
No, it was that like, and Crystal can attest to this too, is like a lifetime of joking with people trying to get the laugh, but not knowing how to do it in a punch up, not punch down kind of way. So like hurting somebody, like basically you got a group of people. It's like bullies. You got a group of people and you pick on one person to get the laugh out of everybody else. Right. But I'm like, I used to get picked on before I was like that. And, I guess
those were wonderful pink shorts that you had.
I did.
Grade 9.
I did. I
just wanted to say that.
They were peach by the end. They were orange that turned peach from bleaching. I'm not defensive. I just need everyone to understand that I was very insecure. I had mad volleyball skills, buddy. They're memorable volleyball skills. I'll tell you that much.
I do remember them. That's
I'll tell
for
you
sure.
that much. Yeah, it's I don't know. I just found that like, so in terms of like, didn't care if you hurt somebody. I didn't want to hurt anybody, but it took me like years of going like, oh, this like now in stand up. So the old me would have been like, if there's 6 people standing in a circle, I don't mind ripping on somebody to get the laugh from the other 4. But now I'm like, I look at stand up like if I'm doing a gig in the club and I'm talking to the crowd, like I love doing crowd work, but I'll joke about like work. I'll joke about, a goofy, silly thing in their relationship that I uncover, but I won't take a guy and make fun of how he looks.
Yeah.
Clothes, sure. My rule is basically I won't make fun of something for somebody that they can't change.
Yeah.
Right? So like even your job, I'll joke with your job or whatever and we'll have fun. It's good
Specifically
natured.
my job? Is that what
sure.
you're saying?
Yours, whatever.
What's wrong with my
We're
job?
not doing it. I don't even know what you do.
Exactly.
Do you have a job?
Yeah,
Okay.
I do.
But that's my rule now is I don't
Working a 9 to 5, as they say.
Ooh. Well, that's my rule, man. If I don't want to send somebody home, like, look, I don't care if like 199 people in a room of 200 were laughing. And I go, yeah, but in order to get those laughs, did I have to send that one guy home with this like chip on his shoulder or, like what if this guy's already on the edge? He's having a fucking rough go of things. He came to a comedy club to laugh. And I humiliated him in a room of people.
Asshole.
I haven't done that. That's what I'm saying. I've learned that.
That
but
you
it
know
came
of.
from years of because I don't make fun of things people
Do
can't
you
change.
go and you interview every single person that's been to your show? And
If
you're
a guy's
hey,
upset about his shirt that I teased or whatever, then he can change that. But I'm saying if I make fun of someone's face or see a fat guy, I'm like, hey, fatty. Like, hey, I feel like that's not that creative. I can do better. You don't think I can look at a fucking... No, I'm just saying. But my point is I don't want to be the thing that pushes somebody over the edge or just ruins their night. Somebody goes home humiliated.
you want to make things funny, not insulting.
Yeah. And that's all I'm saying is, but the old me didn't have that. So it was upon reflection that I'm like, oh, I fucking made fun of that person and I would feel bad later. It wasn't until reflecting and going, oh man, like everybody was having fun except that. You know somebody who really didn't like getting picked on all the time was Stuart back in the Future Shop days. Is that what you're going to write down? Oh yeah.
I was just about to.
Stuart really, yeah.
That's funny enough that I was just about to write that down and just slide the piece of paper over to you. Mm-hmm. He would get like red with anger. And I'd be like, man, you should probably just relax a little bit on these. But it was so wide open.
Yeah.
And he would do it. But then he would get confrontational with you.
Right.
Which would just antagonize more.
Right.
Unfortunately.
Well, that's the thing too, is like, it's that's tough. But here's the thing about being like, kind of like a bully or whatever.
It's
like,
not to.
Well, here's the thing with bullies. Bullies aren't like, you know what? I want to bully somebody today, but make it challenging for me. Let me go find the captain of the football team and bully him. You know what I mean? No, like bullies are like, who's the easiest? It's a laziness thing. I go, I could try to make fun of you, but I go, but you're going to make it hard for me to come back and forth. Yeah. Whereas I look at the tall, lanky dildo, whatever. and you're just kind of like, okay, well, this person's easy to make fun of. So that's what I'm saying too, is like, you got to look at yourself in the mirror and go,
I'm guessing you don't talk to Stuart
am
anymore.
I do. He was watching the video earlier today.
Oh,
Yeah, he was on. That's what I thought made you think of him.
hello, Stuart.
But here's the thing. I've talked to him since, and I've been like, hey, man, it wasn't, I'm sorry that I did pick on you. Like, for years later, like when I was hanging out with our mutual friend Peter, he didn't want to come along. I didn't invite him, but he didn't want to come along. And it's like, yeah, that's more than understandable, because every time you're around, you're like the butt of the joke. Now, like you said, though, he would make it easy. And I'm not justifying with that, but you're almost like,
is that
it's
actually
like
what
somebody,
I said?
yeah.
I don't. Yeah.
Or it was so wide open. I apologize.
Yeah.
I interpreted it as he would make it so easy.
I don't want to make it like sound like he was easy for just because he would. No, but he
Oh
would
man!
leave things.
Well, I don't want to say like it's. We've already said his name, so I just leave it vague. But I don't want to go out of my way to be like, and he was this. Like, he's got a lot of things in his personality. He's also a very angry, prejudiced, whatever person. So that would bother me. Somebody who's prejudiced, and you turn around and like, and then you make it easier for me to pick on you. I'm like, oh, like I'm already angry with you that you're so hateful and bigoted. You know what I mean?
That's
and then
why I
turn
say
around and be
wide
like,
open.
oh, you fucking. You know,
That's why
so
I
it's
say
like
wide open.
It was
Just
almost like, where do
exactly
you get
that.
off? Like if he would start a conversation by shitting on a group or a person or whatever, and I'm like, where the fuck do you get off? And then it's like boom, boom, boom. It's almost like I'm trying to think of like a third world country. It's
I
like
feel
Bosnia
as
is
though-
like, hey, fuck you, and America's like, oh yeah, boom, 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 button, button.
To get to like, whoever it may be, you never picked on people who I felt didn't have it coming.
Okay,
Like anybody who would come out and make some broad painted statements or something like that was negative towards somebody else. I felt like you felt like maybe it was your mission to like kind of not humble them, but like get a sense of reality back that, hey, anybody can be picked on. And then you would just kind of like beat them. I mean,
yeah,
sometimes a little too far.
right. Stop! He's already dead. I think my thing too is I've learned over in time is they say, like, I know a lot of people, if they make you feel a certain way, you're like, well, you want to, so to speak, give them a taste of their own medicine. And I've learned that to do that is abusive. So regardless of who did it first, whatever, when you treat somebody the way they're treating you to make them feel a certain way, that's abusive. You got to tell them how you feel. But of course, teenagers and early 20-year-old males aren't like, you know what? I'm going to take this opportunity to teach a lesson in enlightenment. At the same time, expecting that if you come at it from a passive, mindful state of like, hey, when you say that about people, it's really ignorant and it hurts their feelings.
That's what
gonna
they're
come
trying
at
to
you
do
in a positive
now.
way. It works though. You
Does
just
it?
can't. Here's the thing.
No, but you just said it before. People are scared of offending and
They
stuff.
are.
So does it
But
actually
you
work?
can't. You're not offending someone. You go, hey, when you say that, it makes me feel like it hurts my feelings.
And when you tell me that, it makes me feel this and this. And then the person comes back. And when you say this, it makes me feel this. What did you actually
Well,
solve other
you'd
than
be
just
surprised.
acknowledging that what I said to you was offensive?
Here's what you establish. It's not so much for the whole thing, whatever. You establish a lot of information for yourself. So, Jimmy, like, let's say when you and I hang out now, if I'm like, Jim, every time we get together now, you're always tired. And you're only talking about your kids, and I don't care about. This is hypothetical. It's not true, but every time you're together, you just talk about your kids, and I find it really closed off. I feel like I'm not included in the conversation, and it makes me not want to be a
and
part
then
of
I
things.
punch you in the face, and then it was over.
But you could. But all I'm saying is that, like, if you tell somebody, like, a lot of
Smarten up, you
relationship,
pussy.
a lot of relationships, people are very passive aggressive.
Yes.
So like somebody will think something to go, oh, do you guys have any stories besides kids? Like they might make a comment like that. And that's passive aggressive. So the other people are here like, oh, what the fuck's their problem? Right. And it kind of, it'll put a little divide in. Maybe people feel bad for a few minutes or whatever. Or maybe people hang on to that and remember it. And then you talk to someone and you go, oh, why aren't you hanging out with them anymore? They're like, oh, they only talk with their kids. Like, well, did you tell them that, you'd like to talk about something else? And they go, oh, they know. It's like, well, I don't know if they know. I think you maybe are being passive aggressive instead of just saying to them like, hey guys, I'm really happy for you and I love hearing the stories. But at the same time, I feel like there is other things we could talk about. So is it cool if we kind of just, talk about that and talk about other things? And if they're like, you know what, this is our lives right now, this is all we have to talk about. The big thing with the whole, I feel like this and whatever, is you're gathering data. Like I've had friends now that I'm like, I've kind of like, I took shit from them and I was like, oh, I really don't feel good when I'm around them. And I never told them. And now I can just go, hey, when I'm with you and you do this, it makes me feel kind of shitty about myself. And I like you. I wish you wouldn't do it. because I don't feel good. And if they're like, oh, well, that's who I am, at least I have the data to go, you know what? I've told them openly and honestly how they make me feel. And if their position is they don't want to change it, then I don't have to feel like, oh, maybe I'm losing a friend and maybe they don't know. It's like, no, I've told them and they've been like, I don't give a shit. So what am I losing
I
not
would
hanging
say
out with that person?
as long as you let the other person know,
Yeah.
the other party know.
Yeah.
To me, maybe my approach is different. You know, like I wouldn't just, how I feel when you talk. I'd never take that approach.
Right.
To me, it's just like, okay, listen, you talk too much about this or whatever. It really does. It bothers me. That's it.
That's fair. It's more blunt, but the psychology between you and I feel like, believe it or not, like I've read a bunch of books on it. The difference between I feel and you, like you statements are accusatory, and when people feel attacked, they attack back. So even in their mind, they might go, I don't talk too much about that. Like they might get defensive. But if you say, I feel like you guys only talk about your kids, that's not saying you do. It's just saying, I feel like that. And so it's less accusatory. And so people are less likely to get defensive. They're like, well, I'm sorry you feel that way. But at least it's information. I think the main thing for me is rather than coming at it with the aggressive way, which is totally what I used to do. And whoa, lo and behold, way back when, I was a lot more at odds with people. I was a lot more abrasive. What I've learned about it now is basically just, all right, well, if I tell people how I feel and they don't change behavior, at least I know that I've been honest and I've told them. I didn't accuse them of anything. I was just like, you know what? I've told you if it's going to be that way all the time, then I know that that's just how it is. And I can make the decision to remove myself.
The only reason why, because like, I remember like back kind of, I guess you want to call it back in the day or whatever.
Sure.
I used to take the approach of people of just being, I feel this and like this should be that or what, and it never worked. Yeah. And I felt the more abrasive I was with things, I mean, not like an asshole,
right?
But I mean, the more like direct, like just straight out, here's the point.
Yeah.
This is what it is. This is how I feel.
Yeah.
Worked 100 times better because I feel like when people are like, I really feel this. Some people see that as a weakness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would say definitely like in the day that you're talking about, like when we're young, saying that kind of shit, it's like the people don't have the reasoning skills and shit like that to even be aware of, well, he's saying, I feel this. What a loser. I would use the term that we used back in those days,
Quote,
but
unquote,
it's exactly. Sure. And that's the thing is that it's like the same as talking about the 2-year-old and trying to explain to him why he can't have chocolate chips now. It's like, the whole concept is you're expecting someone to have a set of reasoning skills and tools that they haven't developed yet. And that's why, like, even now, just now, you're saying, like, I feel like back then when I said, instead of, back then when I said it, I feel like just having that difference between that's your interpretation of it. That's something that we've learned with age is to just, rather than say, this is how it is, it goes, my interpretation is it's this way.
Yeah.
So it still leaves it open so it's less abrasive to people.
I think as long as it's direct.
Well, and that's
people actually know, like, oops.
And direct is more honest. Like people think blunt. Sometimes blunt is like you're this, and like blunt can come across as cruel because people, when they hear something blunt, again, if they're feeling attacked in the statements, if I say you guys don't do anything but talk about your stupid kids, it's like, well, I was direct with them. It's like, no, you were a little rude. You kind of threw in a little insult in there, and you kind of, it's like, but I tell them what I think, and I'm not saying this is what you do. I'm saying some people's idea of being honest and direct is being blunt and rude and aggressive.
See, I think there's a difference between blunt and rude. Blunt is just the way it is. I mean,
but it's I think
I don't know
the interpretation of how it is.
Yeah,
oh, you guys are fucking boring now. I'm just telling you how I feel. It's like, well, if you're saying I feel like there's not much to you, you're giving an opportunity to go, well, you know what? We still have things going on and this and that. I'm again not saying this. We've gone on this one for a little bit, which I like. I like talking about. But to your point. Is I'm just saying, like, I find that before I used to be, when you're saying me back then, if I felt like there was an injustice or whatever, I would come at it in an aggressive way. I would see somebody who was being an asshole and I would kind of rip on them because it's like, oh, if you're going to be that way, I'm going to be that way. Taste your own medicine, which I have since learned is wrong. Beater. Right. But at the same time, all I was doing was making those people resent me.
Becoming the bully himself.
Oh, what is that? The classic case of the abused becoming the abuser. Man, we've grown so far. This week, buddy, I have done some interesting things. I finished a puzzle.
That's legit hard.
Really?
Yeah. I'm just trying to make you feel good.
Oh, thanks, man. I was like, you totally stopped me in my tracks. I'm like, really? I mean, it takes a while. It's a commitment. I'm not afraid of commitments. You had a kid, I made a puzzle. You know what I mean?
I was going to go with literally, but that's literally hard.
I think so. Yeah, I said
legit.
I bought a puzzle roll. I may have even talked about it in the podcast. I bought a puzzle roll at HomeSense probably a year ago. And I I put it down. It's like a felt piece, it's like a felt mat you put on the table, and then you start doing your puzzle on that. And then when it's done, you grab a cardboard tube and you roll it around there. So basically, rather than having the table completely occupied by a puzzle until it's done, you can put it down, do it, and then
I think
roll
those
it up.
things are. I mean, it's a good idea.
It's not bad. But the thing is, I've had it in my room forever, and I'm like, I should finish this fucking puzzle. So I decided to finish it. And here's the thing with my house is we have a lovely little boy in the basement. Well, he's 30.
Sorry, what?
He's 30 something, but mentally he's a little boy. His job in this house, his chore, is to throw out the garbage and the recycling. Well,
Does that include puzzles?
it includes cardboard or anything that's in the back porch. So if our lovely little house custodian with the Quasimodo of the Quasimodo of the house, if he walks by a table and sees a piece of cardboard, cardboard is recycling. Cardboard goes in the recycling goes in the garbage outside. Yes, this is garbage. It's recycling. I guess.
Is this like legit?
Oh, dude, when I first moved here, this pisses me off to no end because there's no reasoning at all. Is when I first moved here, I had my entire bathroom set, like curtains, inner curtains. Like, dude, I had never spent so much on a goddamn bathroom set in my life. Over $200. But it was like the little curtain hooks,
More than
all
those
done.
like golden, what were they? Antelope things.
It's not my bathroom. My bathroom set.
I know what I'm saying. Anyway,
Those weren't even that expensive. I still have them. They're upstairs in my bed. But the funny thing is, but like the bathroom set was like these different African animal prints.
there it is.
Look nice. Different African animal prints.
the antelopes.
They look good. I'd love to take a picture of them, but you'll hear why I
the
can't.
African animals.
You'll hear why
They're
I can't.
They're so beautiful.
It's my animalism. I want people to know the truth. But so gorgeous curtain alone was probably like $50-$60. Then it was like the matching, the hooks that go through it. Each one of them has the little print on the knuckle or whatever the fuck you call it.
I just wish people could see what you're doing right now when you're talking about the hooks.
Yeah. Well, I don't know what they're called because I'm a boy. I don't go to Bed Bath and go, excuse me, where's your curtain rod hook thingies? I say them. Anyways, point is I had the curtain, the internal curtain. Like I didn't have one of those dollar store plastic liners. I had a decent liner. The hooks, then the waste paper basket in the bathroom, and the toothbrush holder and cup holder or soap container or whatever, and the regular rinsing glass, and like all these different things from the exact same set. And I had them in 2 plastic bags when I moved in. Okay, well the day I moved in just happened to be garbage day as well. And the deep thinker that lives in the I'm going too hard at him, but I know he doesn't listen to the podcast, so
it's okay.
He grabs the fucking plastic bag because it's plastic bags. These look like garbage. You pick it up and it's got a nice folded curtain in it, and it's like, oh, this must be garbage. It's like, yeah, everyone folds their garbage before they throw it in a plastic bag. Anyways,
Did
the whole
you
idea was
approach him and tell him how it feels?
I did. I said, hey, have you seen the thing? No. And I go, it was in the bags. Oh, well, if it's bags, it's, I didn't touch it. Like, here's the problem too, is if someone was accountable, you go, do me a favor next time you do something. Can you please not throw it out? But anyways, long story short, it got thrown out. It was definitely him because he's the only person in the house would do that.
Did you put it anywhere close to where like the garbage is
No,
stored?
it was sitting right there on top of the dresser.
And does anybody ever store garbage there?
No.
So it's just a random act of malicious.
Oh, no, it was not malicious. It was a lack of intelligence.
I'm not.
Basically, yeah. I would I would go see. Here's where I would fucking go mean and malicious. I don't want that. That's not
Just
me.
playing devil's advocate.
I know.
right now. I'm just
Understandable.
trying to show the love.
So my point is, I probably rolled up the puzzle in the puzzle roll, brought it upstairs, didn't take the box off the table, and a puzzle box on a dining room table, naturally garbage, right?
So you're saying this is your fault?
It got thrown. Oh well, yeah. That's why do you think I hide everything in my room now? If you leave something that's got paper on it, paper is garbage, paper recycling in the garbage by. Like, I'll tell you this, one time Jason and I came home and there was a computer chair out on the front yard ready for garbage. You know why? Because Jason had moved it out of his room and put it in the back porch. Back porch is where garbage is. Garbage is in the back porch. Garbage goes out front garbage. Like, dude, Jason, and we came home and I'm like, thank God you came home tonight, not tomorrow like you were going to Jay, because that would have been in the fucking garbage. I don't think he's here right now.
No, like living here.
Yes, of course. Everything's in danger.
Perhaps you guys should get sticky pads. And when something's garbage, you put a sticky pad on it so he knows.
Yeah.
If it has no sticky pad, it's no garbage.
Yeah, but then he would have to learn that that's what the sticky pads mean. And
Hey,
it's going
give
to
him
take
faith.
It's going to take 50. Oh, God.
Faith. You seem like you're getting aggravated.
Oh yeah, I think you know what. There's sometimes you got to know somebody's not quite all there, and you go, you got to work with them. Then there's like, don't
pads.
touch it. Look at it first. Just anyways. So yeah, I finished the puzzle. The puzzle's cardboard, so it's probably going to go out in the garbage. It has no box. So you know what I did? Yeah, what I did was I finished the puzzle, and here's what I did. I sat down. I did it all in an afternoon. I was having fun. I had a bunch
How many
of shit.
pieces?
1,000.
In an afternoon.
No. Okay, so here's the thing. The puzzle I had started, I had the border done. And like I said, I rolled it up, didn't do it for a year. Took it down, unrolled it. And then I think I started at 2 p.m. at like 10 o'clock. So it wasn't an afternoon. It was I finished a half a day.
That's still pretty
And
impressive.
then I had probably, let's say realistically 50 pieces not done when I had to go to bed. And then I finished it like the next morning, over coffee. So it was, I was happy with it, but here's the thing.
What was the picture?
Here's the hardest part.
No, this is the important question. What was the
It
picture?
was a picture of old travel posters and advertisements for Canada. So like trains and things like that. Yeah, it was, here's what I had to do though. I had to try to Google what the picture was because the picture was on the fucking box that got thrown out, a year ago. So that was what was left after the first day.
It's a lot of like mix of colors and
Yeah. So that's like when I started, and then that's the image. So I had to find somewhere, and it's like all these different, lots of different words and letterings and things like that. You know what? I got the image saved. I'll put it on the Instagram, guys, if you want to see it. But anyways, long story short was just I did a puzzle in an afternoon. I lost one of my days last week to a puzzle, but you know what? I felt good. I put on my Bluetooth speaker with an audiobook, so I was enlightening myself while doing it. Yeah. And that was kind of fun. I wanted to ask you this before I talk about the activations, okay? Because the activations were kind of fun this week. Can't go into them too deep, but do you have any 2-part jobs at your house that you and Lex partner on? Like you cook, she does the dishes, or vice versa. You do the laundry, she folds it. Any jobs that you guys do together? Because
sink jobs.
no, does any
Like I put it in the laundry and then she folds it
any tasks?
because that doesn't happen.
No. But I'm just thinking about like.
Not
Are there
that
any jobs?
okay, before that goes further, it sounds
Yeah.
like that she doesn't. She actually does all of the laundry. I should say that.
Yeah, no, I'm not suggesting anyone does or doesn't do anything. I'm just saying that there's certain tasks in the house that I fucking hate.
Generally,
Like, do you hate cleaning the bathroom? So she does that and you do something else that.
no, I don't hate. I actually, weirdly enough, like cleaning the bathroom.
No judgment. I don't.
Although
I hate doing dishes.
Truthfully, I don't do it enough.
Yeah.
Basically, anything outside is me. So
Okay.
cutting grass, taking garbage out, doing all that stuff, that's all me. And generally, things inside is her.
Okay.
I know that sounds
a lot more inside.
I was just going to say that sounds
Proportionally
proportionally uneven.
Yeah.
So I do help with doing like dishes. I'll do like a lot of vacuuming and stuff like that. But nothing is like nobody has like their own like
Their own job.
job.
Right.
But generally speaking,
Right.
she does more of the inside stuff. I do more of the outside
Even
stuff.
with the kids, there isn't a thing where you're like, you hate changing. So you're like, look, I'll do something
No,
else.
that's a
but
50-50.
yeah.
Well, 50-50 when I'm not working
As reasonably
around.
as possible,
So let's say
yeah.
it's more like an 80-20.
Okay.
Because she does 80% of the diaper change.
But it's not like I do them in the morning when I'm here, and that night when you get home, you're changing the kids.
No, like we don't really have like you do this, I do this, you do
Right.
this. Like if she's busy with the kids or something like that or whatever it may be, and there's laundry to do, I'm not gonna be like, not my job.
Right.
No, I'll throw in laundry. The only thing that I don't do is I don't fold it. I hate folding.
Okay, that's what I'm
So,
trying to get at. It's like, is there any jobs you absolutely hate?
Yes.
And you're therefore willing to do something else? I think
I
the
will
2-part
fold.
jobs.
I will fold, but if had any choice not to,
Right.
I will do all the laundry. I'll put it in, soap it, switch it, dry it, bring it upstairs, and say, "Okay, here you go." And she's like, "Okay," like it works.
Yeah.
Thank God it works.
I was talking about that on an episode or two ago of the podcast of just how like some people might say, well, that's not fair. Folding the laundry takes more time than doing it. But I'm like, yeah, but doing it, you have to be around to switch it over. and
You can
pull it
like
out.
set it and forget it. It's like
Right, but if you need it for this evening, well, guess what? Now you can't go do something.
do have to pay
else.
attention to the
Yeah, you have to
time.
be home to do it.
yeah.
Versus,
It also depends on who's the folder,
yeah.
because some people fold it properly and it's nice. Other people literally,
Do you hate doing it because you
roll
suck at it, or you
and
just
stuff.
don't like it?
I just don't like it.
Yeah, so I can fold properly. I do not like it. I don't.
I
care
can
for
fold properly. And it's not even that it takes that much time. I just don't like it.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, just
I'm trying to think of like 2-part jobs because that was the thing that I'm interested in. This all stemmed from like I know couples where one person will be like, I hate cooking, but I love I don't have a problem doing the dishes.
I hear that all the time.
I don't mind cooking at all. The only thing I don't like about cooking is having to do the dishes afterwards. You know, I used to have that when I lived with Patty. But the only thing is Patty was a chef and he would cook like he was in a professional kitchen and he had a pro dishwasher. Yeah.
Dishes.
He'd have like 4 bowls used, 3 pots, you know, a baking tray. And
Alex
then
and
I was like, listen, dude, you can't use up the whole house's dishes every night. I'm not cleaning a professional kitchen.
So funny enough, and I mean, I hope she doesn't get upset for it, but that's Alex and I used to do the same thing.
Okay.
Where she would do cooking and stuff like that. And for me, when we lived in the apartment,
Right.
I was the dish guy.
Yeah.
Because we didn't have a dishwasher and I grew up without a dishwasher. So I just was used to it, cleaned
Likewise.
it, did all that stuff.
And
so
they still
she
don't cook frying pans and stuff like that in dish. Like the cooking.
Well, you can do frying pans and dishwashers. There's literally settings for them. But I
Literally?
mean, you should. Oh, damn.
You're a basic bitch too, Jimmy.
Turns out. No, because there literally is settings for it.
Yeah.
See, in
it
that
says
context.
frying pan on the front?
Pots, pans, yeah.
Okay.
Literally.
Still basic. Literally basic.
Fine, I'm a
no,
basic
kidding.
bitch. That's fine.
It's fine. Everybody is now. That's the
Yeah.
thing. But so you were doing the dishes at home.
At the apartment, yeah. And
but did you hate it?
that's what I was going to get to.
Okay.
Is that she would cook and she would make like scrambled eggs and like she would like break the egg in one and then pour it into another.
Yeah,
and then
like why?
And then do that and then go and then like mix one with milk. There's 3 bowls before it even got in the frying pan.
Yeah, I hate
and
that.
I'm like, wait a minute. I'm doing the dishes. You could literally, here it is again, mix it all in the pan.
Yes. I
save
don't even
dishes.
mind one bowl. If you need a mixing bowl, but here's the thing: if you got to mix the eggs up, crack them in the bowl first, stir them up. If that's the thing that the eggs need to be stirred first, then stir them in that bowl. Cool. Now add your dry ingredients or your vegetables or whatever the fuck you're doing. Add them into that same bowl, and then mix them up in there. Is it ready? Is it all thing? Cool. Now pour it into the frying pan because I get sometimes you got to preheat the pan. So I get that, but it's like one bowl. If you're mixing a bunch of shit, you mix it all in there.
Absolutely. So needless to say, she stopped doing that.
Yeah, thank God, Alex. Grow as a person.
She
I'm
started
joking,
doing
I'm
some
joking.
dishes and stuff like that. And she's like, yeah, I really do use a lot of bowls. Yeah.
Yeah.
you do.
Oh, she had never done her own dishes before that?
No, she has. But
Oh,
it was
okay.
usually like she had a dishwasher. She'd had to
I
scrub
see.
like 1
I
or
see.
2 dishes or something like that. But
Yeah,
no.
you're cleaning a frying pan, everything else is going in the machine. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, no, I grew up without dishwashers too, and it's like you start to appreciate that, like, no, I don't want to. Dude, there's a period of time where I was buying paper plates from Costco because they were good quality. It would cost me like $10 for 100. So I'm
There
like,
was a time.
yeah, no, now there's styrofoam.
Now
from
there's
the dollar
styrofoam.
store. But here's the thing: my styrofoam plates right now are left over from an activation. I didn't actively buy them for home use.
I just love the fact that you
Yeah.
hate doing dishes so much.
Hate it.
That you went and bought styrofoam plates so you don't.
No, but that's the thing. I didn't do that. Costco paper plates like a couple years ago, 100%. These are left over from an activation. I just use them when I can. So, for example, if you're doing burgers,
hesitantly use them or use them because it's just wow.
oh, I actively use them because but I wouldn't go buy styrofoam plates. I'd buy paper ones.
Environmental.
But all
of
I mean,
course.
of course.
Earth Day.
I mean, they're all shit for the environment. But my thing too is the
Recycling is crap.
well, you know what it is if I'm cooking burgers or chicken, and like I've been doing a lot of stuff on the grill. So if I've got like wet chicken and stuff on a paper plate, I'll basting all that. I'm not going to turn around, take the same plate and use it for my dinner.
Well, no.
So
of course.
so having a plate that I can base shit on and I can just throw that out as one less plate I have to throw in the dishwasher or hand wash.
Yeah.
I don't have a problem doing that.
Yeah, no, it's fair. I mean, salmonella and all that stuff. You don't.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And especially like when it's plates and you're like, well, you can wash most of it off.
What
but
bothers me too is that some people, they rinse that plate.
right.
They don't wash it.
They rinse it.
They
yes.
rinse it and then
Yes.
they bring it back out and then they put the cooked chicken on that rinsed plate. I'm like, yeah,
I gotta go.
no.
Yeah, look at the time.
I used hot water. Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's like grease, right? Like if you had to put a bunch of olive oil on a plate and rinsed it for a couple of seconds, how confident are you that that plate's not still covered in fucking grease?
It's covered in grease.
right. That's why the soap molecule is. Like one side loves water, one side loves grease, and it fucking pulls them apart. Pulls them off with each other.
It's a tough concept to get sometimes.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. So I don't know that there's a lot of jobs. I would love to find that partnership where like I don't mind cooking, and I have been
Like
the
a
dishwasher.
50-50 perfect split.
Yes. But I mean, not necessarily like we'll take turns doing both.
No.
I'm saying some people are like, I hate cooking. I don't mind washing the
like
dishes.
a 50-50. Like I
Yeah.
do I
because
do the
I've
washing,
been the dishwasher,
you do the drying.
right?
Yeah, yeah.
And because I've been the dishwasher, I would be respectful not to make excessive amounts of dishes because I'm not trying to make anyone else's life worse. But after I'm done eating, I don't want to be standing hunched over a sink for half an hour. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Growing up, we had a rule in the house that the cooker cooked, the other washed,
Yeah.
and then the kids would clean up everything else.
Okay. Like what?
So like you had to do your own dishes. You had to like your fork, your all that stuff. Like
Do you mean bus it or clean it?
No, like bring it there, soap, clean, do all your own stuff.
Okay. That's
But that
actually
was
a really good.
that was
that's
the
a good
rule.
deal because you only
Yeah.
as a kid you're only doing a plate and a fork and knife.
It's super
essentially.
simple, and it gets you to learn how to clean your own stuff. Like
Right.
it's installed in your brain. You use it, you wash it, and you put
So
it
the
away.
person who's doing the dishes is really only struggling with like the frying pan, the baking sheet, maybe some
That's
cooking
it.
utensils, and then of course their own plate. And
Their own plate. That's
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
So that's not half
Everybody
bad.
did. That was a 25. Well, no,
Did the cooker get to have at least have someone else clean their plate and dish, or are they still cleaning their own?
they cleaned their own.
Okay, that's you know what? That's not half a bad system. I hope you guys are listening. What do you guys think of that with kids and whatnot? The cooker cooks, the dishwasher dishwashes, and then the kids, everyone, effectively, not so much the kids. It's
basically
everyone's
involved.
responsible for their plate,
Whoever
their fork and knife.
Whoever cooks the food doesn't have to do any washing but their own plate.
Okay, and fork
The
and knife
person,
and cup. Kind
yeah,
of thing.
the other person washes the frying pan or whatever cooks and stuff like that, and their own plate. So you rotate cooks.
Shit, I would almost become the dishwasher for that because now you're not doing all the extra cutlery.
And if that's
you know
your
what, you know what my
50-50
least
split?
favorite part though is the cutlery. Is the sitting when you're done everything, scooping through the water. You can't even see how much cutlery's in there, and you're fucking wiping it down. And the worst is other
That's
people start
why-
putting more shit in there.
You have the cutlery cup.
Okay, we didn't have that.
No,
I
yeah, you have
never
a
had that.
cutlery cup that sits there. It's a perforated, and you literally, when you're done, you put all your cutlery in the sink in the cutlery cup. All your dishes go on the one side, cutlery cup on the other side.
So let me ask you this too, and this is
Absolutely.
quickly
Shoot,
turning
go
into
ahead.
like the Martha Stewart two
This is
two
like- I
old
feel like
guys
I'm
talk about
interviewing.
how to
Yeah.
wash dishes. This pissed me off to no end. People putting shit in the sink, like when someone put a plate in like vertically, and now it's sitting 3 inches out of where the water could possibly be. So the whole idea is they've stacked the sink in such a fucking ridiculous way that you can't just do the dishes. You got to take everything out of the sink and then restack the sink to do the dishes.
Yes.
That bothered the shit out of me because how the fuck?
I told you I was
people
sorry
think they're
about that.
helping by putting. Oh, I wasn't talking about you, but if you're outing yourself, I hated it because it's like. Someone thinks they're helping you by putting all their shit in the sink. It's like, well, no, you're not. Put it on the counter because I can't. You got stuff sitting there like a weird piece of abstract art. It's half in the sink and it's half out of the sink.
Yeah.
In what world could that thing be something I could possibly work with? All you're doing is asking me to empty the sink first. You're giving me another job. So if you're not going to put it in a way that I can just run water on it, don't put it in the sink. Does that make sense? Do you think I'm talking about you?
No, I know you're not talking about
Okay.
me. I'm just thinking that like
Has
life.
that never happened to you as the
Yes.
dishwasher? It's like,
Yes.
what the fuck is this?
I'm also guilty of it too. I've done that.
You're a piece of shit.
I am. I am. But I mean, you can't tell me that stuff that you haven't done hasn't frustrated other people for
Oh,
their
fuck
things.
yeah.
So
Fuck
I
yeah.
mean,
but I'm saying I don't think I've ever done something. And if you go, now how much sense that make? I look at it and go, wow, yeah, you're right. That makes no fucking sense. You're like, why are you putting it in the sink?
okay, so
And then in a way that you could never
used
wash
to
it.
teach me how to do your grilled cheese sandwiches.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
Yeah. Do you agree that that was absolutely horrible?
No.
No,
Because
the
here's the thing, you
dripping butter
Oh,
that
yeah,
came
it's-
out of the bottom of that thing that your mom then had to clean.
She didn't clean it. She didn't. Of
Did you clean up all the butter?
course. Well, it came in a drip tray. You'd pull it out and you fucking rinse the fucking thing off. You didn't have crumb trays in your...
So I remember after we did that, and I looked behind the
Oh, it's
toaster,
a disaster.
I was like, oh damn.
Yeah, if you guys watch Deuce Bigelow, I got the idea from Deuce Bigelow. At one point, he puts a grilled cheese sandwich in the toaster and just pushes it down.
It's amazing.
Genius. They probably never really even did it for real. They probably pushed it down. All right, cut, and then get that fucking thing out of there.
Yeah.
No butter on the outside, too, I guarantee.
Yeah.
I would butter the bread, throw the cheese in the middle. And it had to be like singles or something because anything
Yeah.
else would just fall out of the bottom.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like singles in there, boom, in. Was it delicious?
It was delicious, but that's
Right.
evading the whole point. The
No,
whole
no.
point is that people do things without. You're saying the dish thing.
But here's what I'm saying: there was no alternative. If you're doing a toaster grilled cheese, there isn't another way to do it.
yeah,
But I'm
pan
saying,
grilled cheese.
no, that's the whole totally different. What I'm saying is that it's not like these people have no choice but to put these wacky, misshapen dishes sideways, standing vertically out of the thing. They can just put it on the counter, and the same task will get accomplished. You're basically making a different task. I was being lazy, but if you ask me, like, are you aware of how much work you're making? Yes, I am. But you ask someone who puts it vertically, oh, no, I thought you just run water on it and clean it. No, you fucking mouth breather. But I appreciate your devil's advocate on that. You're a very good man. Excuse me. We're going to get off house topics. But I just wanted to know, if you guys had any, and you're saying you do the outside, she does the inside. It's kind of
Generally
like
speaking, outside inside.
yeah, I'm really
That's-
fascinated if my listeners can tell me. I want to know a couple that's like, I absolutely hate taking the garbage out. Hate it. I don't like touching it, whatever. And then but I do this. Like I always empty I always put the recycling out.
So
I always
you're
break
wondering
shit
if your
down.
listeners have like a dedicated.
Yeah, if
Like,
there's a dedicated, this is my
your
job.
thing. This is their thing.
Yeah. Yeah. And we have dedicated jobs in this house, which I think are kind of ridiculous sometimes. Like Simon's job is putting out the garbage, whether it's garbage or not. And my job is the kitchen. Jason, when I first moved, he said, your job, Josh, would be making sure the kitchen, the dining room, and the living room are clean. And I go, well, that doesn't sound fair at all, because there's times where all of us will be drinking, whatever, and we'll just leave our shit in the kitchen. And Jason come home and go, why the fuck is the kitchen? I'm like, I'm not
you,
cleaning
like,
up after everybody
tidying?
every day. No,
Or
he's
are
like clean it, like make sure all the dishes are in the dishwasher, make sure there's nothing in the sink, like wipe down the counters. I'm like, and then he wanted me to do the dining room as well, wipe down all the counters, make sure it's vacuumed and clean, and then make sure there's nothing to live. I'm like, this is not a hotel. I'm
You're
not the
Molly
custodian. Yeah, I'm not cleaning up the common areas for everybody, because that just makes everyone else complacent. Like, oh, it's not my job to clean it, so I can just leave it as a mess. No, not a fucking chance. So I was just wondering, there's some jobs I wonder if couples have that, or if it's just a pipe dream, because some people will say that, oh, I do the cooking, she does the cleaning. And it's like, I don't really think that's the case.
I'm sure at least one of your listeners is going to have a dedicated job.
Yeah, I think it would be
I'm-
interesting.
I'm very certain of that.
Yeah, it's more about me interested in what jobs people hate. And I hate the dishes for the reason that A, I don't like to stand hunched over a sink after I've eaten a meal.
The vertical plate
B,
places.
I hate having to undo what everyone has just thrown in the sink to be able to do the job. You know what I mean? And I hate that when someone else cooks, how much extra dishes they use. So that's why the dishes has been a very undesirable job.
That's
for
why I
years.
find.
And I take measures so that things don't get dirty. Like if I use a baking sheet, I will
I've known
cover
you a
it.
long
I will
time, I
cover it in fucking tinfoil. So when it's done, you just take the tinfoil off, throw it out, and the pan is still immaculate.
Yeah,
I will
but that's
triple
why
layer
I
that
find
shit.
the way that I grew up, it worked.
Yeah,
That
I like that. I think
Yeah.
that's the best contribution you've made to the podcast so far.
It,
I'm joking.
good. At least I
But no,
at
but
least
you know
I
what I
had
mean?
one.
That's a good system. If people have kids and go, yeah, one person cooks,
I just
one
find
person
it
cleans.
teaches them, and here's the thing: if you cook and you make a huge mess and stuff like that, well, the other person, when they're going to cook, they're probably going to do the same thing to you.
Right.
So if you know that you're going back and forth, and you know that if you use less dishes, it's a lot easier and stuff like that as you go to cook, and you're not mixing, because you know what it's like to do all the dishes.
Right.
So you're not going to be doing all that stuff. And the truth is, my parents would go back and forth where they'd use a frying pan.
Right.
And when it was still hot and everything like that, they'd bring it over and they'd put it and they'd
Yeah,
rinse
it's
it
easier
right
to
there.
fucking get the shit out of it when it's still
They
hot.
would do that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So and a lot of times too, I shouldn't say that when one person cooked, the other person washes. I shouldn't say that, because sometimes it would be the person who cooked, they also did their own washing.
Right.
So they kind of doubled up or whatever, and then the other person might do that too. There was no dedicated.
Right. Sometimes a lot of
It
people are
was
like
just-
clean as you go. It's like you
Yeah.
can to an extent, depending on what you're cooking, because sometimes you don't have time to stop and wash something when you're pulling something out of the toaster and something's in
Yeah.
the oven and something's
For
in a
us, it was
pot and
just-
something's in a frying pan. You're like, I don't have time to clean them right now.
Yeah. For us, it was just basically you're responsible for your own.
right.
Because if your dishes were there, people knew that those are your dishes.
Right.
Because we all cleaned ours, you didn't clean yours, and that's where it was. And then if you left dishes somewhere,
Yeah.
they didn't get put vertically in the sink.
Thank God.
They were in your bed.
Really?
Oh yeah. Even if they had food on them or anything like that.
But not like under the covers.
Under the covers.
No.
Oh yes. Talk to Johnny about it, man.
How
He
long
got
did
it
he
too.
leave them? It's not like he forgot, like he had to run a baseball practice and they're like, you motherfucker. Right up the stairs.
No, like if it was there, something would be said.
Okay.
And if you didn't, after you were told once,
They're under your covers.
they're under your covers.
And then you get bed bugs and
No, you
your parents would replace the bed
that.
sheets and go, all right, we
Yeah.
got to find another system. It's
Yeah.
it's costing us a lot of money, these lessons.
No, because you would have to sleep in it at least for that night.
Right.
So you would like, okay, tomorrow I'm gonna do my dishes.
Yeah.
Like yeah, I don't like that. So
Did that happen to you?
never to me.
Really,
Never
with
to me.
Johnny?
Yeah. Mine, luckily, I guess because I was younger or whatever, but mine were on top of my sheets.
Okay. So it escalates. It
Johnny had
escalates.
it under his sheets. He had it pretty bad. But he was pretty bad too. If you listen to this, he did it pretty bad.
Does he still listen? I don't know.
I don't know. He would leave a lot of stuff everywhere.
Yeah.
Some of it may or may not have been mine too, but I'm just saying.
Did you ever do that? You knew he'd take the flax. He'd just
I don't-
tuck a plate under his pile and go, you know,
I don't recall.
I plead the fifth. That's hilarious. I wanted to just, before I move on, I do have like one or two stories I got to tell before we get to the sponsors. But I was asking you before, just that's me trying to, come on, brain. I was asking you before, but like, are you feeling the age now? Like, do you feel like a different dude? What you were looking forward to when you were younger, now, like, you don't feel like a different dude?
No, I mean, I shouldn't say it not 100%.
Nice. We should have mic'd that. You know what? I was trying to be classy, guys, but I'm going to be honest with you. It's been a long time since we've shared a moment like that, Jim. We just looked at each other, and I sort of had the stance. I gave this look like I'm going to press out a fart, and Jimmy joined me. And that's why he's my best friend, because you know if I'm gonna jump, he's gonna jump with me.
That's
you
it.
know, that was disgusting and hilarious, but I'm leaving it in. I want people to know that that's the kind of friendship we have.
Yeah. So do I feel my
How are
age?
our
Yeah.
asses still in sync after all these years? Is it like women with their menses? They spend enough time together, their flatulence syncs up.
It just syncs up. Yeah.
That's hilarious.
Do I feel my
Stinks up?
Do I feel my age? It's funny enough that you mentioned this after last night. I played dodgeball. I played like in a league.
Yeah.
Well, I subbed in for another team, and I'm pretty sure I tore my calves and threw out my shoulder. Like I tore my subscapula almost a year ago.
Okay.
And it's slowly been coming back, and everything was fine. But last night, the calves, the shoulder, the everything, I woke up and I felt 50.
Wow.
And funny enough, today I'm feeling much, much better, especially after having a nice little massage in the chair there, which I love. But do I feel my age?
Not so much you feel. I'm just saying, like, do you look back? Well, who
Do I
doesn't?
feel the
Who
same
doesn't-
as
who
when I
doesn't-
was 18?
who doesn't
Absolutely
look-
not.
Yeah, who doesn't look 20 years ago in their life and go, man, exactly the same.
You know what?
Government workers, they're the only ones like
kinda
nothing's
had, like,
changing.
I guess you'd
Nothing's
call it like
changing.
an epiphany or whatever. But the other day, because like I suffer anxiety and panic attacks and stuff like
Do you
that.
take anything
now.
for it?
I do.
Do you mind if I ask what-
Clonazepam.
Yeah.
Whenever you feel it sort of coming up. But I don't. I used to take SSRIs, which
What
are
is
like
that? I've heard of it.
it's like a pill that you take that basically goes into your brain, which goes to your fight or flight kind of,
Okay.
which is where all your anxiety and stuff like that. It helps kind of like. I mean, just like I'm simplifying everything,
No, of
obviously,
course,
but
of course.
it just helps you kind of.
I'll
like,
ask if I want. Yeah.
like keep sort of that area of the brain calm.
Okay.
Of like where anxieties and stuff like that come from. You're still responsible yourself for dealing with, certain feelings and emotions or whatever. Like it's not
Right.
100%, but it aids you to deal with sort of certain situations. But
Can we talk about that for a minute? Because
sure.
I don't like. I know that you used to listen to the podcast every single week. I don't know how long it's been since you've listened. No biggie. Not every episode. I'm grateful for anyone who listens because I know that not every episode is worth listening to.
Yeah.
But I only in the last like year or so started being real like open about the fact that I have anxieties as well. In fact, even recently I've been asking people and sort of saying that like I don't even know if it's anxiety that I have per se, because people say anxiety, they have panic attacks. I'm like, I don't have the attacks. I don't have panic attacks.
No.
But I'm
Panic attacks and anxiety are
I'm constantly overthinking. I'm constantly worried. I can't relax, be calm. Like if I have a moment of like where I feel good, my brain will immediately start going, how you can't relax and feel good. You know how much shit you have to do? Like, and then my brain will think of things that I have to do. Like it will literally take my own happiness away because I start overthinking things. If something happens, my brain immediately, like if I have a situation or whatever, my brain will immediately start thinking about what's the worst thing that could happen then and trying to plan for all of these horrible. So
That's pretty normal.
is that anxiety or that's just a normal
I think
thing?
that's normal. And then how you react to it. And a lot of people get anxious in certain situations.
Right.
Doesn't mean that you suffer anxiety. I mean, I think the broad spectrum painted across everything is, like I'm an anxiety sufferer when you just have anxious moments.
Yeah.
Right. But to me, I think anxiety it's more when it's debilitating.
Okay.
Like you have a meeting.
Okay.
And you're going to the meeting. Some people get anxious.
Mm-hmm.
People who suffer anxiety, and this is my view.
Of course.
I mean, there's different layers. Other people could say, "Oh, that's not fair." I think that people who suffer anxiety can't go to that meeting.
Okay.
Because it's too much to handle for them. They feel like they're going to faint. They feel like they're going to pass out.
Okay.
The heart's going, the mind's going, everything like that. People have blacked out from anxiety.
How did you find out that you had it? Why don't I not sound myself anymore? Did I heard
I don't
this
know.
thing? Yeah. It's like not coming through anymore.
That's I don't hear you.
Hello? What the fuck, man? I didn't turn this off. It hears me a little bit. That's the weirdest fucking thing. What's that? Test.
There you go. And you're back.
It's a weird thing. I twisted it slightly and then it was just.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't want to be having technical issues with my things. What's going on here?
Let's stop playing with it.
Well, I wasn't playing.
Well, you're playing with it now.
I am because I'm trying to get it to recreate. So I know
but it's working.
if this thing's maybe getting anxious.
How about you do that when it's not recording?
Fuck you.
Okay.
It could happen again in a moment where I get to my most intimate.
So how did I
That is
find
a
out?
weird thing.
that I
Yeah,
have?
like no, not that you have it.
Like
What
the story of what happened to me.
Yeah, what was going on? Where you're like,
I went blind while driving.
really?
Yeah.
Tell me the
the
story.
more I was going to get there.
You looked at me like that was
I
it.
had to give you a moment to let it sink in.
You know,
So I was shaving in the morning.
in the
and
car. I was shaving. The guy went blind.
Okay, so to go roll back, I used to go pick up my mom every Sunday to go take her for groceries.
Okay.
Okay. So I was shaving in the morning, getting ready to go, and I kept on having like kind of white flashes.
Okay.
And I was like, what the fuck is this? So anyways, didn't think anything of it. I never even really knew what anxiety was.
Right.
Never really knew what it was. So I see white flashes. I'm thinking, that's weird. Continue on. I kept on going, got in the truck, went and ordered my coffee, Tim's, and my usual routine and stuff like that. And then I started driving down. I got like maybe a block away. And all of a sudden my peripheral vision just started going in and it was closing in.
Yeah.
I was like,
Quickly or like or a few minutes, like you're starting to go, why?
pretty slowly.
Okay.
Like within 5 minutes, it had gone from edges to everything.
Okay.
So peripheral started and it kind of closed in, and I was like, whoa, like something's going on here. And then obviously your first thought is like, I'm going blind
Yeah.
and I'm driving.
Right.
So I was like,
Hazards and brake and
yeah. So like, I was like, I sped up because I knew I was close. I could still see forward.
Oh, okay.
And I was like, I just have to get off this main street.
right.
And at least I can pull over. And then I was like, I can't call anybody because I won't be able to see my phone. I can't, like, what am I going to do? And all of a sudden, like this, I guess you would call it a panic attack.
Yeah.
Happened. And I got to my mom's house. Luckily, I pulled in the driveway and then boom, nothing.
Right.
My mom apparently was outside and I heard her voice.
So when you got to the driveway is when you lost everything.
Yeah.
And that's full loss or like 90, like I could see
no, like full
loss.
I couldn't see anything.
Was it white or black?
Black.
Black. Okay.
And this is the part that got me is that I heard my mom's voice coming down and I was telling her, I can't see. And she told me my eyes, to look at my eyes where like the pupils were giant and everything was giant and I couldn't see. And all of a sudden these crazy flashes just kept on happening. If I closed my eyes, if I opened my eyes, didn't matter what it was crazy flattening. And I remember it flashing and I remember hearing that white flashing as a retina detach.
Right. So you thought your retinas
I
was
thought
just
retinas
detached?
had just gone. And I was like, hey, that's it. I'm blind and all stuff like that.
Really? Like you just accepted it like that?
No.
Oh, okay. You're like, all right, I'm blind. I'm like, fuck, that's way better than I could have done.
So in my mind, I was saying, okay, that's it. My vision's gone. And then it kick in. When I never knew what anxiety was. Kick in. Oh my God, my vision's gone.
yeah.
and then just like crazy panic. That panic attack, if you want to call it a panic attack, lasted for, well, okay, I should explain. My vision came back about 35 to 45 minutes later.
Did you go inside, lay down? Did you?
I paced in the basement of my parents' house. Blind. Just, I knew the basement, right?
Yeah.
Back, forth.
Your mom, was your mom there like questions and oh my God, do you want me to get you?
Yeah.
That's the worst. But I know it's the care, but it's the fuck.
She
Like,
didn't know
no
what to
questions
do.
right now. Just don't
know what to
leave
do.
me alone
Stuff
with my
like that.
thoughts.
And like, she's like, just sit down. You need to relax. Like, I can't relax. Oh my God. Like, she's like, your heart's going a mile a minute. You just need to relax. And funny enough, as soon as I relaxed, vision came back.
Right. But how helpful is relax? Like you have anxiety. Hey man,
Nobody
just
in
relax.
the history of relax has ever relaxed.
Yeah.
Like it's, but anyways.
It's the funny thing. Someone's like, hey man, I'm really stressed out and I'm having a fun. They're like, hey, just relax. Oh, I didn't fucking think of that. Thanks so much. Great. Wow.
Perfect.
These
So, yeah.
fucking psychologists, you know what they charge? No, none of them just relax.
190 an hour.
Yeah.
So
they're
anyways,
upwards
so
too.
yeah,
But that was the first.
that was my first
You had
ever.
never had a panic attack. You had never been stressed out. No levels of anxiety.
I mean,
was it building? Were you
I
going
had,
through something?
like I said, I had anxious moments,
right.
but I never would say that I suffered anxiety. Like before a test, I didn't study enough, and I'm like, butterflies in the stomach. Oh my God, I'm so anxious.
But I mean,
I'm so
you
anxious.
can't stop. Like you can't even
But-
focus on something else because the only thing you can think about is the thing
Never.
that's stressing you.
Never.
Okay.
I never.
Was there
never went through
something
that.
that was happening in your life that was on your mind that may have been stressing you out to the point where that happened? Okay. All right.
I don't know. I don't know.
Okay.
But I was going.
Just for context, just in case they're like, why did you just, I'm just going to say you have let me know something visually that we won't go into, which is, I think, fair.
Sure.
That's all. Just
Yeah.
they don't need to know, but in case anyone's like, why did Josh just stop asking questions? I understand.
I don't think they would have taken that half a second and wondered, but yeah, sure.
Oh, you'd be surprised. Like, why were you like? Because the way where I'm like, wait, hold it, you didn't have it, and then okay,
Yeah.
you're like, I don't know. Okay, I just give up on it. But so,
fair enough.
so
So,
just
yeah.
so I know, I
Yeah,
have
yeah.
context, but I'm restricting your privacy. On
Yeah.
it. So
And
you did
so-
have things going on because blindness just doesn't come out of nowhere.
So but it actually does. I went into the optometrist to go figure out why. I mean, like this is 2-3 weeks later. They kind of
That long.
well, I scheduled an appointment. They had nothing. Nothing.
They didn't even. They're not like hospitals where you go like, look, it's an emergency. I went blind. Can we?
Yeah,
Can you go to the hospital?
Which is
Because
why
hospital's emergency. You
Yeah,
can get an
but which is
optometrist.
why they got me in with. I think it was 2 weeks.
Okay.
And which I mean, anybody who schedules appointments knows it's usually like 6-8 months or whatever, and it takes a
Right.
while.
A lot of my listeners are in countries that probably don't have the healthcare jam ups that
well,
we do. So just for a heads up, in case it was like, how did it take 2
Yeah,
weeks?
in Canada, I mean, because it's free healthcare, it's like there's a long
It's a waiting
list.
line. Yeah, it's like a
Like-
soup kitchen in a homeless shelter. You're like, all right, it's all
should
free for
never-
everybody, but
I
you're
should
gonna-
never call it free healthcare.
Yeah.
Prepaid healthcare.
Yeah,
like
prepaid.
the 60% taxes
The
that we
premiums.
pay.
Yeah.
But anyways, so I got in there and they told me that I suffered an ocular migraine.
Okay.
That's all it was.
When you talked about the flashing, that's what I get before a migraine.
Yeah.
I've had that.
I've never had migraines.
and your vision, you start to lose your vision.
Yeah. So that's what they told me. It was an ocular migraine. I never had a headache, never had anything. It just
Yep.
vision gone. I was like, what? So went through that. And then for basically 5 months, I just like super panic, super anxiety, super everything. And it never went away. To this day, it still hasn't gone away. I'm much, much better now.
What do you mean, the anxiety and stuff?
Yeah. I'm much better now.
So you're saying that you got anxiety from that
from
going
that
blind?
situation, it was basically, if you want to go call like a PTSD,
Okay.
from this like a traumatic situation that basically like, I mean, it'd be all end all for me, right? At that time.
Right.
And then that kind of goes on. And then the way that anxiety works is that you have a brain path. And every
Right.
time you get into a situation or you think about a situation, your mind
You go
goes
back
down
into
that
that
path.
pattern. Yeah.
And that's, yeah.
So that's interesting because I never, the thing with me is I've probably been anxious and had low forms of anxiety for as long as I can remember. But what are you looking for, a time frame? It's on that. Do you want to know how long we've been talking?
No, I'm just curious.
Yeah. I used to, with me, it's like I do have, yeah, well, we can wrap it up. I'm just reading this slowly. Oh, okay. Yeah. I'll get you something. I'll get you some. Put some food in your belly. You can also just say it. Doesn't have to.
Okay.
Oh,
well,
with your family.
I do have to go home to those 2 kids that I was talking to you about and make
don't
sure
eat
that
them. Don't eat them.
they got some food.
Wasn't
to eat
Alex there?
instead.
Alex, can you feed those kids? That's your job. Then you got to make your job is to feed the kids, and she has to make sure that she texts you to come home and feed the kids.
She hasn't texted me to come
I'm
home.
teasing.
She actually texted to say that she was going to the park with the kids.
Well, that's
'cause
amazing. They're gonna have the best
so.
night of their lives. My point is, when with my anxiety stuff, I've had to deal with. Like I for the longest time, I didn't think I was anxious. I thought I was just stressed.
Yeah.
But it's like when I can't let go of the thoughts and move forwards. Yeah, I do a lot of dick sucking. You can just say it.
Why would
I
you
don't
randomly
care.
tell me that?
Why would I? I don't know. Your mime skills are terrible then. But yeah, I don't know. But I was curious about you because you've been open about having the anxiety and having pills
Absolutely.
and stuff like that.
I don't think that anybody who suffers anxiety should hide it.
No.
I think they should be able to talk about it and realize that they're not alone and that there are a lot of people out there who do suffer.
Yeah.
But I mean, some
7
bad.
out of 10 people now have some form
I'm
of
not
anxiety.
surprised. The way
Yeah.
the world is today, it's stressful, man. It's
Yeah.
stressful. And like, you always have to make money. You always got to do this. You always got to do that. Like, it's a lot.
Well, for myself, I had a conversation. I think I said in the podcast. That's the thing too. I have so many conversations with people. I don't know what I said on this and what I just said in conversation. But I was in Montreal, and Crystal was just mentioning that she wanted to do something, and I immediately was like, "Oh yeah, that's not a bad idea. Get that this." Like, "Oh no, but if this happens and this and blah 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 blah," and I go, "Maybe you should try to do this." No, because then somebody, and it's like she's like, "Whoa, like we can just try shit at like." She goes, "With you, it's that something happens." And then you live through every bad scenario in your head, and you get anxious, and you
Planning.
get
Yeah.
like, and she's like, so rather than we try it out, maybe nothing happens, and we deal with it because she's like, you just came up with a solution in 2 seconds now, so maybe instead of us just living through the situation and seeing what
just hit the
happens,
mic, my bad.
just living through the situation. If something happens, we deal with it. Then it's like you're living through them all negative, all the bad things right off the bat, and now it makes me less. Like it sounds like you're being critical of the situation. It sounds negative, and it's not.
That sounds a little OCD.
Yeah, dude, you name a fucking neuro problem and throw it on me. I probably got it. Like I'm neurotic, I'm OCD, I definitely have forms of
hypochondriac.
anxiety. I'm definitely a hypochondriac,
Yeah.
but that's because of again, it goes back to that worst case scenario. If this is that,
Of course, but
and my brain lives
the
through
only-
all of them.
Yeah.
But I think maybe it's OCD. But I've been reading things about anxiety too, and I do get anxious. I definitely have
sure.
small panic attacks when I think of death. Then I will have a small adrenaline release because it's fight or flight, like you said.
Yeah.
Anyways, I'll move past this. I got one other thing to talk about before we go to our sponsors. It's pretty much over at that point. Just for your time frame, is I did 3 activations this week. That's where I do the promo stuff.
Nice.
One of them was we did a thing for the National Gallery of Canada where we were promoting a portraits exhibit.
Cool.
Yeah. And we were riding a train, via rail train from Ottawa to Kingston and Kingston back to Ottawa.
I'm a huge I recently took a trip.
Did you?
We went up to okay, maybe not that recently. It was a couple of years now, but we went up to Montreal, and it was awesome.
Yeah, it's comfortable.
No driving, sitting there relaxing.
No traffic.
No traffic. It
That's
was
the
great.
best.
It was great. I had a
Yeah.
good time.
So yeah, I haven't been on the train. I honestly can't remember the last time I was on a train. Probably a little kid. So don't remember the experience.
No, yeah. They
But-
give free Wi-Fi and all that
Yeah.
stuff. And
Yeah, you get what you pay for with the Wi-Fi.
I never had an
our
issue.
tablets kept disconnecting.
Really? I
Yeah.
never had an issue.
Yeah. You maybe just got on the right train, right time. But we it was great. The passengers were great. The staff was amazing. It was fun being on a train. Like basically I was paid to ride a train to Ottawa, from Ottawa to Kingston, then from
yeah.
Kingston back to Ottawa.
Why not?
With good people. So I had a blast doing that. I did go to Mika's. Happy birthday to Mika belated. I meant to say it earlier.
Happy birthday.
So just for context of my listeners, you can keep singing if you want, but all of my listeners have heard the episode, I would hope, of you and Mika. Jimmy and Mika are my 2 best friends in this world. Mika just recently had a birthday. That's right. On Monday. So happy birthday to you, buddy. This is me and Jimmy's way of saying happy birthday to you specifically. He's joined me on the podcast and we can shoot the shit. So the few stories we've told throughout this episode where people are like, why do they keep saying Mika? Because growing up, it was the 3 of us.
And
so,
we didn't tell any bad stories about Mika.
it's not over yet. Yeah, no
Because
bad
we
stories.
respect him. And we just want to say happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Mika. You big old drink of water. I also did a Jimmy's miming more stories that we know Mika wouldn't like us telling. But Yeah, I did an activation. I went to Mika's house. That's what I brought up. Went to Mika's.
Yeah.
They were for not too long, but we played a few games with them. Him, his lovely wife.
always a good
his
time.
kiddos are doing good.
I enjoyed the time out there at the Mika household.
Absolutely. What was I going to say? He's already started a project in his book from DK, the Woodcraft book that I gave him for his birthday.
Yeah, that looked really interesting.
Yeah.
And of course, Mika Rado was like, "I'd use that." And Rado, I was like,
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. No, he's already started. Did he show you the hatchet handle he made?
"No, but
So he's already started a project from the book.
of all people, like Mini Leo, he's
Yeah,
going to be
yeah.
able to do all that stuff."
Yeah.
And I think it's good that Mika has that book because he will probably do 90% of the stuff, whether he does it now or 80 years from now, because he's going to live to be forever. So he's healthy. He eats
Yeah.
like everything healthy.
Dick.
And he's all
That sperm's got vitamin C in it. Shit. That's one of your favorite quotes. Yeah, so I went over to spend some time with them, but I had the Hope Beach volleyball activation the next morning, so I couldn't stay too late. We had a good time, but yeah, so Hope Beach, have you been in a long time?
no. My work does a team apparently.
Okay.
And I've obviously heard a lot about Hope. I don't really know.
Never been?
No, never been. And this is the first year that I actually kind of looked into it a little bit.
Yeah.
Kind of whatever. That's a huge thing.
Dude, I've been a few times. So Hope Beach, Hope is an acronym, stands for helping other people everywhere. But Hope Beach volleyball tournament is a big thing that happens in Ottawa. It's about 11,000 plus people. I think maybe it's even 20,000.
Yeah.
There's so many people, but it's this
Is it
big
still
stretch
down
of
at,
beach.
the
Mooney's
Mooney's Bay?
Yeah, it's a big stretch of beach. There's a ton of grass. All the beach is all volleyball nets. All the grass is all volleyball nets. And then, of course, there's like vendors and sponsors. Yes, I was going to get to that. Basically, it's like Ottawa in the simple, small government town. It turns into Miami Beach for a day where it's people having a good time. But the fellas have got the man buns up, the guns out, the ladies have got as much skin showing as possible, no matter what size ye may be. And I was actually inspired this year. Normally you'd think that, you'd see somebody go, Jesus Christ. But no, it was actually kind of cool to see everybody very comfortable with their bodies.
It's the new way, man. It's
Yeah.
good.
Yeah. No, it was nice to see all those people happy and just, showing as much skin as possible and feeling confident. I'm drawing pictures to show Jim. It's a lot of back and forth that's not being recorded that we have here. That's why it's not a video podcast, so we can get away with that kind of shit.
Maybe you guys start getting into that.
No, because then you couldn't answer some of my questions off the record. Everyone would see what you're doing. But
Well, if it's a video one, I'd throw a pen at you or something. You would know to move on.
right. Well, that's the thing you were telling me about before. I don't have the filter. That filter's broken. The move on filter is like, you know what? If you tell me to move on, I just want to ask more questions.
A good pen to the face will help you with that.
Maybe in your circles. But
See,
anyways,
I am violent, eh?
So here's
I told
the-
you about punching you in the face earlier, then I'm throwing a pen in your. See, I am.
you're out here growing, Manny. You're trying. What was interesting with the festival is it's basically teams going around all day, people getting progressively more drunk as the day goes on. But you know what I saw a lot of? This is
Volleyballs.
This is
Nets.
Actually,
Water.
not really, not where I was.
lifeguards,
Couple of them.
drinks,
Yes.
grass,
Yep.
sand,
Yeah.
sky. What
All
else
right,
did you see?
Easy now. Let's move on. No, I'm kidding. I have seen a tattoo trend that we were talking about basic bitches before. And that's what brought this word back to my vernacular was the fact that I was saying it so much the other day. But on the amount of little life quote tattoos.
Yeah.
Oh my God! Every woman walking by with a little script down her ribs or on her arm or whatever. No, but that's part of the cleft. So Jimmy held up his arm. He's got a musical note on here on his arm.
Do you know what this is?
That's from Stand By Me.
Yeah.
It was very important to you.
It is "Stand by Me."
Well, it's not the whole song.
No,
It's just the dum 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 dum. Yeah, of course I know it's there. I fucking know. Yes, of course I know. It's not just the line from the music that accompanies "When the Night,"
Yes.
and then Alex has something with it as well too. She has "Stand By Me."
She has "Stand
right?
by Me." Yeah.
Right. So all I'm saying that stuff's fine. That's couples. And you've also got the music notes. I'm talking about just like a quote, just on the side that says "Live your truth," on your back that's like "I am who I am," and just words. And I'm like, but the amount of people who have that now. Why? What have you got? What has Alex got? Who's got what? Basic alert. I
don't.
don't know.
I don't recall.
I do not recall. I do not recall saying that, Your Honor.
No,
I'm just saying that
whoever it may be.
here's what I want to say to every one of these 600 million unique women who've got the tattoo uniquely. Of course, we're inspired by their own unique originality and creativity to get a quote on themselves because they didn't see it anywhere else first, because they're living their unique, honest truth. with the
You know what's funny? You're becoming unique. You don't have any tattoos.
I'm being a prick. No, I don't. I have stretch marks, and they're covering a lot of my body. I don't. I don't know how. You know what it is? I would like to get a tattoo, but I have commitment issues in terms of like I don't know what I'm going to like my whole life, and I'm trying. For like 28 years straight, I'm trying to lose weight. So I don't want to put something on and then I lose the weight and it just looks like melted. Just
like a candle.
Right.
Get a candle because when you
it fell over to the side. It's still burning. The wick's still lit.
It's just a little melted.
There you go, onesies. You guys want to throw me something? Let me know what tattoo you think would look good if it was put on a fat guy and then he loses 100 pounds.
I think
what would still look
I think
good.
you should put that out to your viewers to see.
That's what I'm doing right now.
What tattoo they think you should get.
Yeah, contact at onemanpodcast.com. If you want to send me a picture
would you get
with it. If it was funny, that's the thing. If I know that it's hilarious and it's going to look good when I'm fat and it's going to look good when I'm skinny.
If you got something like a pickle tattooed on your ass, that would be funny.
Really?
I think that'd be hilarious.
I don't think so.
A pickle?
Yeah, but why? What does it mean?
Nothing.
I'd have to show it to people.
But that's the point.
Just show my ass to people.
That's the point. Something like that. A random. What does it mean? It doesn't mean anything.
I like that Steve-O tattoo. He had in cursive the words "your name," right? And that's like an old bar gag where it's like, "I'll bet you $100 I have your name tattooed on my ass."
You know what I mean? That's better than a pickle?
No, but there's something to it. It's a conversation starter.
I think the pickle idea.
And someone's like, "No, you don't. $100." They go, "Sure, your name. I bet you pay up." And they're like, "Oh."
Yeah.
If someone would turn around and was
done.
like, "You're saying you have Bethany tattooed on your ass?"
You should just get like something unique, like pickle on the cheek. That's unique. Your name. That's not unique. You need something.
But
unique.
it's a conversation piece. So I'm saying anything interesting like that, like if it was a joke or whatever. But I open it up to you guys, onesies. If you want to send me the idea, or if you have a picture, if the picture exists, onesies. That's what the One Man Podcast listeners are called, onesies. Buddy, you've been gone a while. That's what they're called.
Did you call them that or somebody else?
The contest people submitted different suggestions for names.
Oh, I missed out on that. Onesies. That's cute.
That's what they are. Onesies listening.
That's cute.
Welcome back, Jim. You should start listening again. It's gotten a lot better.
I stopped at like episode 3. How many?
You didn't. You guys were featured on like.
How many are you at now?
This is 114.
Well done.
Yeah, we've made it. Oh, thank you. I'd like to thank all of the people who stopped subscribing over the years.
How many subscribers do you have now?
I don't know. Like every episode averages like the first day. Geez, I don't know. It's hard to tell. It's hard to tell. Yeah, well, because you have a certain amount of downloads, but then there's feed hits. Streams don't count the same way a download does. But it's a lot. It's
Good.
a lot. Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. It's not, we're not hundreds of thousands.
Hello, Sweden.
Sweden listens. But I tell you, the East Coast, they're a big chunk of my listenership.
I don't want to do an East Coast accent.
Oh, bye. Come on down to the East Coast. You want to come down here and see the friendly people there? It works. They're just crazy. I think you did a great job with that accent, Jim. It's anyways, yeah, so the hope thing, lot of basic tattoos. One person had like a quote on her ribs, and then on her arm it said Little Mermaid, just said it in cursive. And then I can't remember if there's any. It was like every kind of hack tattoo. One person had so many I don't want to say like Japanese or Chinese symbols, but they had so many Asian symbols, it looked like a crossword puzzle. Like, I swear to God, it was like 7 down, then 6 down right next to it, and then 5 down next to it, then 4 across. And then it was just all these different. I'm like, what is that? If I could read it. There's trends and people get on trends, but for me.
My favorite are the ones, the Asian ones. Like, where they're like, why do you have like dog breakfast tattooed on you? They're like, no, it means eternity.
You're taking someone's.
No, it doesn't.
Why don't you put it in English so that we can read it?
Yeah.
I don't want to, like, as soon as I see them, I'm like, I don't even want to ask. But they want you to ask, what does it say? It means eternal. Well, why did you pick eternal? I thought people would think I was interesting. It's like your tattoos, you got a lot of couple shit with because you got the little bicycle cards. Bicycle's the brand. Bicycle card symbol for like king on it, right?
What? That's
That's a crown.
okay. It's a crown.
Right.
That's for my
But I'm
son.
saying on the thing. And Alex has the queen symbol from the hearts, the bicycle cards.
crown. Yeah, because my son's name literally means little king.
Yeah.
So yes, that's that.
But why does she have the queen crown then?
well, because she doesn't want to have like a big king tattoo on her. The queen one looks better.
I just thought you guys were all about doing couples tattoos because you're basic as fuck.
Okay.
Just joking.
Sorry, I'm in love.
No, I'm very, very happy for you guys. I am. I'm just teasing. But I don't have an issue with that. Like when it's symbolism and stuff like that. And who the fuck am I? I don't give a fuck. Yeah, I know. You got that one, the Black Panther, the Wakanda tree.
What about the cross on my back?
Yeah, I don't know what's up with that.
That's surviving cancer.
Oh, that's right.
God has my back. That was the theory of it.
Okay. You haven't changed your mind since then?
No, I
think you should have
absolutely-
got. I think you should have got the doctor's fucking names tattooed on there.
Yeah. Funny enough, maybe I might do that.
I don't know if the doctor was like,
surrounded.
"All right, Jesus, grab my hand, steady."
That's exactly what he said.
Oh. Can you imagine if right as the anesthesia was kicking in? Like everyone's always like, God did this, but can you imagine as the doctor's going to somebody's like, fuck, I hope God has my back. What did you just say? I need you to know. I need you to like, could you imagine just,
I remember,
I'd be
yeah.
like, because that's the thing, right? For someone with faith, you'd think they would go, yes, that's right, God will help.
When I went under for one of my surgeries, I've been under a few times for a few surgeries, and anybody who's going on, you ever been put under?
Yeah.
Okay,
Tonsils.
so remember when you're getting put under, they put it, okay, like it's in, you're gonna start feeling it, and you start
Right away, your vision's blurring as you start to look side to side. It's going quick and then
it's just-
slow.
but you
I
still
was like,
remember.
oh, I'm starting to feel it. And then out. That was my experience.
I remember.
think
I remember on one of my surgeries, the guy who was to my right, the anesthesiologist was to my left,
Yeah.
and the guy who was to my right was like, "Hey, what's the?" And then that's the
Really?
last, and I was like,
It's hilarious.
"What's what? Like what?" And like when I woke up, it was the first thing I thought of.
Oh, really? No, I couldn't. I was out, and then I woke up.
remember it
and I was
very
but
well.
But I had my tonsils out, so my throat was
Yeah.
so dry, so sore. I was like,
I think it was my appendix surgery.
something to drink. Like,
I'm pretty sure it was my appendix surgery.
oh yeah,
Yeah, I was like, "What's it?" Because he was looking at a tray.
yeah.
And he was like, "What's it?" And I was like, "What?" And then when I woke up, that's all that, and I wanted to eat. They're like, "No."
Yeah,
let
I
me
was
eat."
hungry
I
but
was
thirsty.
So hungry, like you're gonna throw up.
Did you get your tonsils out?
Nope.
Yeah. So what is it? Have you heard people like, oh, when you get your tonsils out, what do they say? What do you get?
I don't know.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, I'll help. This was the thing for me. Oh, you getting tonsils out? Oh, they're going to give you a lot of ice cream. They're going to give you ice cream. They're
Oh,
gonna
the
give you
ice
SA.
chips and all that
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
Nothing.
Like, what do they tell you?
Nothing. Nothing.
I was very confused by your question.
Well,
What do you get?
I was wondering if it was one of those. For me, hundreds of people, not just telling me that when I was going to get it done, it was going to be that. I was getting people who had it done. They were like, oh yeah, they gave me ice cream in the hospital and everything like that. Everyone who had it done got ice cream. Everyone telling me when I was going to get, oh, don't worry, we're going to wake up. They're going to give you, you go to sleep, you wake up, but guess what? They're going to give you all the ice cream you can eat. You're going to feel no ice cream. I begged, Jim, begged for water, begged for it. And they're like, not just yet. When I was like, I was so dry. Like you ever have so dry your tongue sticks to the roof of your mouth dry? That dry and pain. I was begging for I'll just take a little sip, but it's so dry. Nope, not. And then they sent us home like 2 hours later, and I go, where's the fuck? I didn't eat a solid. I don't even think I ate food. Solid food may have been even longer, but for an entire week, I couldn't have eaten ice cream because my throat hurt so much. So it was like water, maybe a little bit of ginger ale or something with sugar for the energy. But I lost weight. I found it, but I lost it that week. And so that's what happened to me. Just when you're asking about going under, like only thing I remember is waking up, throat hurting, water, please. Some crazy lady on the parkway on the way home from the hospital, driving all over the lanes up onto the grass, the Ottawa Parkway. Like some crazy one. My grandfather, the ex-cop, screaming at her. I'm like, I just want to get home alive. But that was my week, buddy. All right, guess what? We have a couple minutes and then we're done.
Yeah.
We're done. Okay. So it is time for my partners, guys, at portablepress.com, Uncle John's Bathroom Readers. And this week I'm going to be reading an article picked up by yours truly, Jimmy. Yours truly means me, but it's not. Picked up by my good friend, Jimmy.
I saw the title and I thought it was interesting because, I mean, a lot of people probably don't know.
Yeah. Well, dude, that's why we do these Uncle John's Bathroom Readers. This is from the book, guys, Do Geese Get Goosebumps? And more than 199 perplexing questions with astonishing answers. And the article that Jim picked out, he asked me the question. It's called Running Out. And the question is, why are horseshoes considered lucky? This superstition has crossed many cultures. Pagans thought horseshoes were lucky because they were made of iron, a sacred metal of great power. The Norse god of war, Thor, wielded an iron hammer. The ancient Greeks thought the horseshoe had a lucky shape because it resembled a new moon, a sign of fertility. The shape was considered lucky in the Middle Ages too. Medieval church doors were sometimes shaped like a crescent moon. But it was the 10th century legend of a blacksmith named Dunstan that sealed the lucky fate of horseshoes. When a man came in asking to be shod, I think, you know what? I think it's supposed to say shoed. I think it's a typo. Because shoed is SHOED.
Yeah.
Right? And it's shod.
When I was reading, I was like,
maybe, or maybe shod's a word. I'm going to say I think that's what it means.
So he came in to
regardless.
get chewed.
Let's see here. Hey Siri, what does shod mean? Let's see if we get this here. Feel free to fucking answer me, Siri. Jesus Christ. Fuck's sakes. Hey Siri, what does shod mean?
Past and past participle of a shoe.
Past and past participle
Do you want to
of.
hear the next one?
It is.
No.
shod.
Yeah, but it says past and past participle. I don't even know what that shit means.
Of shoe.
Of shoe. So he wanted to be
Came in
shooed.
She wanted to be shooed.
Okay,
so that is
so
actually the right word.
The guy asked
so
to be shot.
They didn't
Okay.
do a typo. The book is good.
Yeah, fuck this. It's still confused the shit out of me. And if you're trying to relay information, no, okay, anyways. So, but it was the 10th century legend of a blacksmith named Dunstan that sealed the lucky fate of horseshoes. When a man came in asking to be shod in horseshoes, Dunstan realized that the request was unusual. Then he saw the customer had a cloven foot. He was shoeing the devil himself. Dunstan, who later became Archbishop of Canterbury, tortured the devil with hot irons and nails until the devil promised that neither he nor any of his demons would enter a building protected by a horseshoe. The horseshoe must be nailed onto the building facing upward so that its luck doesn't run out. So when you and I were when you asked me earlier, I was saying, well, horseshoe's lucky. You're supposed to put it upwards and like a bowl, and if it's upside down, it's the
You
luck's
were
run out.
indeed correct.
But only in the later part of it. So the whole idea is that, so horseshoes are lucky because, I think it's supposed to say that you're a blacksmith. And I think it's not, the devil's like, okay, I promise I won't come back to any of your places. Because he's like, the last time I walked in, I got fucking tortured and burned.
From what I'm understanding.
So it's more of a warning for
there.
the demons and the devils that they're in danger if they go in, not to whatever. But anyways, hey, thanks to Dunstan, because now the devil won't go to those ones. He'll just run for president and win. I'm kidding.
A Trump.
Hillary's the devil. She's the devil. She lost. You know why? Because the White House has a horseshoe in the fucking front. That was hilarious.
Oh, dear.
That was my partners at portablepress.com. Uncle John's Bathroom Readers. Do geese get goosebumps? And more than 199 perplexing questions with astonishing answers. I also have other partners, guys. Absolute Comedy. Absolute Comedy, as I mentioned last week, is in the full throes of their Prove Your Comic competition, going on the entire month of July, both the Ottawa and Toronto clubs. But there's great shows going on all the time. Check out absolutecomedy.ca for more details.
Absolute Comedy is the best live stand-up comedy from across North America, with locations in Kingston, Toronto, and Ottawa, Ontario. These comedians have been featured on Just for Laughs, Netflix, Comedy Central, CBC's The Debaters, Jimmy Kimmel Live, Conan, The Comedy Network, and much, much more. Go to absolutecomedy.ca to see this week's lineup. Planning a night out is easy with dinner and show packages available at all locations. Live comedy is a great choice if you're organizing a celebration, fundraiser, company outing, or corporate event. Want the show brought to you? They'll send comedians to your venue with performances tailored to your event, creating a night of laughs your guests will love and won't soon forget. So for showtimes, ticket prices, gift certificates, special shows, and more, head to absolutecomedy.ca. Again, that's absolutecomedy.ca for the best live stand-up comedy from across North America.
And we're back, guys. Only one question left. Am I forgetting anybody? Am I forgetting? No, of course not. I am talking about my partners at DK, Dorling Kindersley, dk.com/ca in Canada. Guys, this week I was reading a book. I didn't finish it. I'm never going to lie to you guys and say, I finished this book. I didn't finish this one, but I thoroughly enjoyed the shit out of the portion that I did. This is from the How It Works series, of which DK has got more books coming out. There's another one coming out next month that I can't fucking wait for. But this one is called How Technology Works, the facts visually explained. There's a bunch in the series. So just to give you an example, they have how science works, how the body works, how food works, how money works, how business works, how psychology works. Next month, if I'm not mistaken, it is how philosophy works. I'm very excited for that one. But just, I'm going to throw, you don't like philosophy? Why? This is it's just so one of the things I love about these How It Works series is they always have these tiny little fun facts in the front. So just for example, Jim, some of the shit I didn't know, but did you know that the world's tallest power tower is over 1,200 feet tall? I don't know if that's fascinating or not. That doesn't. I wouldn't know how tall they are. 1,200 feet seems like a lot, but here's one I find interesting: elevators are 50 times safer than stairs. 50 times safer than stairs.
So one of my anxieties is elevators. How? Because of like tripping and falling?
I didn't get to that part. I want to, but I did find that fascinating. This one, okay, of all the facts in the front,
I don't believe it.
Of all the facts in the front of this book, this one I find the most interesting. The first working submarine was built in, what do you think?
1915.
1620.
That's what I said, 1620.
An average wind turbine can generate electricity for 1,000 homes. The world's deepest man-made hole is 7.5 miles deep.
I did know that.
Did you?
That's YouTube.
That one you knew? Okay, I didn't know that. To make them sound more human, digital assistants are programmed to insert pauses in their sentences. In the sentences, not at the end of them.
So, okay, sorry, say it again.
So to make them sound more human, digital assistants are programmed to insert pauses in their sentences. Yeah, so it's like da-da-ba-da-da-ba, pause, and because it used to be like just say you make them say racist or stupid things. Computers, you know what I mean? And it's like you don't know what you sound like. You sound like a dick and an ass and a dick, and then like just you're like, okay, easy,
run on sentence,
easy there. Did you know lasers can measure the distance to the moon to an accuracy of less than an inch?
Really?
Yep. These are just the ones on the cover. A medical.
Would this be like from point to point,
like Earth to the moon, and they'll tell you what the distance is to an accuracy of within an inch with using lasers.
That's crazy.
That's pretty fucking cool, eh?
That's pretty crazy.
They're not just for cats anymore. And then this is another one I found interesting. A medical MRI scanner can generate a magnetic field 40,000 times stronger than the Earth's.
Yeah. Go ahead, get in there.
Yeah, get in there. We'll crush you like coal.
There's people who are sensitive to that stuff too, right?
And that feelings come out.
Well, that makes so much sense.
You got an iron hip, thwack. That's how you recycle human. Why don't they throw dead people? Right? If we're trying to recycle, why don't you throw a dead guy? If he's going to get cremated anyways, throw him through an MRI machine. Well, no, if they cremate him, you'll just pull it out of the ashes. If you're going to bury him, fire him through an MRI machine. Let's harvest the fucking parts. I don't know why you're rubbing your head.
Christ.
It's called recycling, Jim. Right? Maybe we can lower the prices of healthcare. So I just wanted to give a few little tidbits through this one here. This one of the first sections that I read that I was just really interested in is they got a whole section on power and energy. So different kinds of energies, different units of measurements for energy. So if you don't know what a horsepower is, right? Like everyone's like, oh, my car's got 200 and blah, blah, blah horsepower. You're like, great. Well, what does that mean? There was two different things. The first time I ever read what horsepower was, it was saying that like horsepower is the amount of power it takes for a horse to move a block weighing 1 meter. And it's like, that's horsepower. They have it written differently in this, which I think makes more sense for people to try to remember and reproduce properly. It's the horsepower. The power of vehicle engines is often measured in horsepower. 1 horsepower is equal to 746 watts. So brake horsepower, BHP, is simply means that an engine's energy loss due to friction has been accounted for. So you can tell what it is, but it's like if you're losing as well. So I found it's got different kinds of energies, chemical, mechanical, thermal, kinetic. What I like too is that there's, you ever wonder how like water gets purified? I thought that like...
Yes, I do.
Seriously?
Yes.
I don't know. I argued with Jason because Jason doesn't believe that they put, chlorine and shit in the water. He doesn't believe that. I'm like, of course they do, you fucking idiot.
Yeah,
fluoride and chlorine. Yeah. So the whole point.
Thank God they do.
Right. But here's the thing. I thought that they took the water from our waste and cleaned it and put it back into our supply.
So you'd be drinking. Well, partially.
Purified shit piss water.
No, but partly that is true.
Okay.
They do that, which is the reason why I mean, you're getting into some detail here, but how women are taking the pill,
Oh, you're talking about the estrogen and
the estrogen getting
it's
back
left
into
in
the water.
and it can't be. It's not filtered out.
They can't filter it out.
Yeah, that I know.
But yeah, so it is partly true that
Yeah,
some water
because they
is-
take. But just so people know, it's not pumped directly back in. When everything that comes out of your toilet and everything like that, they actually have a sludge hopper that they use to use fertilizer. They'll take your poop and make fertilizer.
What's that? Dirty Jobs.
Oh, is that where you saw
Bro?
that?
Yeah.
Okay.
He
I haven't
did all
seen that.
this, and they had to clean one of those things one
Sludge
time. And
hoppers?
he's like, he doesn't gag much.
This is
but
the
he was
worst
like,
margarita maker ever.
But yeah, one of the pumps blew, and they had to go into that chamber and change it.
Gross.
And that is disgusting.
Yeah. Well, there's guys who like dress up in full suits to go scuba diving and shit.
And one of the guys was not wearing his mask while he was doing it.
What the
That's-
fuck?
yeah.
Really?
Yeah. He was talking to the camera, so he took the mask off and just chatted. They're like,
That's hilarious. Well, so you know, they take everything that they clean in terms of the sewage water. They pump it once it's cleaned and taken care of and everything. They pump it back to the rivers and the sea. So technically, those hormones and everything, they'll go back to a main water supply because they will take the water intake from lakes and
it
rivers
dilutes
and things like that.
Yeah.
So but at least it's not like the shit and piss water is pumped right back into our.
Yeah, they think that the poopy goes into a plant, cleaned, and then refed back into the water lines.
Right. Yeah.
which is
No.
not
It goes
the
back
case.
to rivers and oceans, which will have their own filtration systems. There's this book also has like how oil refineries work and how they basically heat and everything like that, and the different
You know-
levels of gases that they are. Because I was always wondering, like, when you're getting crude oil out of the ground, how do you separate it into each one?
It's
like
also
they-
true that I like the way that this book explains like all the information on the side that has diagrams kind of coming
Yeah.
down the middle with like pretty easy to understand.
Yeah. And they
It looks
break it
good.
down further later on. Like, it's one of the things I love about DK books. Rather than just reading about something, I like being able to see it visually because I'm, borderline.
Honest to
simple.
God, I believe most people learn that way.
Yeah, visually.
You explain and then visually show what they have to do
Absolutely.
or anything like that, and you understand it better.
Well, they have all sorts of different things about, like, and this is just the power section about generators, how motors work and tools and things like that. Like, it's really, you explained to me about how brush and brushless drills and tools, things like that work.
Did it work?
Yeah, 100%. 100%. But everything for the guys, they have like how electrical supplies work, nuclear power versus wind power versus, they've got water and geothermal power. Again, great diagrams. And this is me just talking about the first power section. I'm not going to say how everything in it works, but skipping ahead to other sections, some of the technologies that they show in here is how 3D printers work, which is a huge thing right now, right? A lot of
Still
things.
creeps me out.
My aligners are 3D printed. Like these things are 3D printed and then shipped to me. They also have things like how cranes work. If anyone's ever been like, hey, how does a crane just show up overnight and then somehow on top of a building? I've actually
Magic,
watched
of course.
right, Wizards,
Jeez.
right? I've actually watched YouTube videos of them setting up cranes and how they work. But this will show you how cranes work. There's actually a crane. Some specialist cranes can lift 1,800 tons. So it's like nearly the weight of 400 elephants. Is one of the things that
It's
they have in
crazy.
there.
And the
Yeah,
guys
so-
who run those cranes have no fear of heights.
Really?
It boggles my mind.
that would be awesome. Do you have a fear of heights?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with yes on this one.
Okay, that's fair. No judgment, just curious.
I'm not like
Not
going
crippling.
up. Yeah, going up somewhere high won't get me, but like being on the very edge of a building, like that freaks me out a little
I
bit.
think this is very, very convenient and coincidental. Because one of the things, I didn't get this far in the book, but it's in here, guys, how dishwashers work. All right?
Also, I would like to say that anybody who owns a dishwasher, I hope you actually go into the filters and you clean it because the garbage and gunk that gets into dishwashers is
Yeah.
gross.
Yeah.
Like you have to clean a dishwasher.
People should rinse their plates before they put them in. Some people will just put like sludgy barbecue sauce shit in the.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I almost I pre-wash sometimes.
Nice.
But then I go into the filter, I clean the filter, and there is like grime that gets in there. And you can only imagine how much that's spinning around and your plates, just clean it
I'm gonna share this funny little joke here.
as you open the page to
Well, there's a
toilets.
toilet thing, and here's the funny thing.
Toilets.
The toilet was running for a while when Crystal and I used to live together. The toilet was running for a while, and I'm not trying to embarrass her with the story. It's just one of those funny things. We all say silly things. One time, the toilet wouldn't stop running, so the water was kind of going. The seal hadn't been right. It hadn't been sealed. So Crystal, at one time, I was saying, "Yeah, it's broken. We got to fix it." She goes, "Well, we can't just have it staying like that, right?" And I go, "Well, we need a piece for it. It's broken right now." And she's like, "Well, we can't, right?" Because I go, "Why not?" And she goes, like, "Well, the hydro right? And so it was like kind of one of those things where I was like, no, there's no. Again,
Crystal.
lots of people don't know how shit works, and this is not a shame thing or anything like that. It was one, honestly.
That's a shame thing.
You think so? I don't.
Jeez, Crystal.
No, you're being an asshole.
Come
no,
on.
the funny thing with it was I was like, I love it. It's one of my favorite things to remember. One of the best moments. But it's just like
Part of my job is I go place to, I can't say where on that stuff like that,
Right.
but I go place to place, and some of the questions that I have given to me about certain things like this,
Yeah.
nothing shocks me like that.
no. Well, people don't know.
And
that's the
anybody who
thing.
says that they're like, oh my God, I'm so embarrassed to ask, because like whoever said, Crystal said the hydro, not to worry, you're not alone.
Well, and that's the thing, right? It's like I've said before in the podcast that there's people who like will be at their workplace and someone asks them like, oh, I can't believe they don't know. It's like, yeah, they don't spend 40 hours a week, 52 weeks a year doing it. So yeah. They don't know. Like,
And there's guaranteed something that you
you
don't
go to their
know.
job and there's going to be something ridiculous that's so easy to them that they have no idea. You know what I mean? It's like, the funny thing is like with electrical, right? Because I was an electrician. A lot of people think that if they touch a wire, they're going to grab it and hold on. And zzz, zzz, zzz. It's like alternating current doesn't work like that. It's alternating and it basically will allow you to it just hurts. But if you grab a DC, I left. I never got tested. I quit beforehand. But
Not an electrician.
whatever. I did
Just
electrical
an
work.
electrical
I was an apprentice. But all I'm saying is that the whole point was
How many hours?
a
did
lot
you
of
put in?
things. I don't fucking know. I did 5 years. But I wasn't registered for the first 2. But the point is that I know that you could touch a wire and you're not going to grab it, hold on to it like they show in the movies where you're standing there and you're getting fried and zapped. That's DC, direct current. Like a car battery. Car battery is going to fuck you up more than anything in your house.
So
don't
if-
ever touch that
if
because
you're-
that's where your muscles contract. So the electricity goes in and your muscles contract, which is what makes you grab onto it.
Yeah.
The thing with alternating current is the current goes both ways. So when you touch it, your muscles aren't contracted to the point where you can't let go. It's alternating 60 times a second. So the whole idea is you can let go. It hurts, but your muscles aren't contracted to the point where you can't let go. Whereas
What if
DC
you
will
on
grab.
like 220?
It's still alternating.
Yeah, so that's just gonna hurt, right?
Well, you can let go. That's the whole idea. Is you can let go. That's why they tell you not to wear like rings and shit like that.
Yeah,
and you
I was
don't touch it with
told-
2 hands because then the arc will cross your heart and fuck you up.
Yeah, I was told by some people that there are situations that you would get stuck.
Yes, but a lot of the times it's like, usually something that you're wearing, like a ring or something like that gets caught on it, or you're reaching into a panel and you can't pull away from it because it's got you pinned down. I'm sure the more voltage, maybe it's worse, but my boss used to touch the back of the panel with his bare finger. But anyways, for you guys who are not so interested in the windmills and shit like that, they've got like fucking the web stuff here. They have email, they have Wi-Fi, they have mobile devices, VR helmets. There's all sorts of things in this book. If you're interested in technology at all, hey, how does some of this shit work? It's outstanding, and they even have farm equipment for some of my people, who are living more rurally, like perhaps the birthday boy that we were speaking to earlier. They even tell you how genetic modification works in this book, which is very interesting for people who think that Monsanto isn't fucking with the food supply. You're welcome to read that this is a real shit in here. So everything from X-rays and MRI machines, keyhole surgery, it's all in here. Guys, it is How Technology Works by my partners at DK. The facts visually explained. DK.com/CA in Canada, DK.com in the States, or just Google DK Books if you're anywhere else in the world. And that is the end of the partner portion. Thank you very much to all of my all of my partners. I love you very much. Another tip of the cap to DK. They are so cool to me. They're the ones, I spend most time talking about them, and they're always supportive. I do use curse words. I do use things like that when I'm reviewing their stuff. They're still 100% on board. They know I'm a huge fan. They know I love the product. And guess what? You onesies are also fantastic too, because you guys know that my opinions and my thoughts do not directly reflect the thoughts of DK. They're just a book company that makes fucking awesome books that crazy, ridiculous people like myself and good, wholesome people too. You know what? There's probably, are you a wholesome person, Jim?
I like the book.
Yeah, man, you're a good dude.
I'm a good dude.
Yeah, good people like it. I'm saying, you know what? You can use the F word and still like books and like reading. Do you know what I mean? You can be a person who never uses any profanity and fuck kids. And I'm not saying you can. It exists within that person, perhaps. But all I'm saying is it doesn't matter. A lot of people appreciate a good book, and all I'm trying to say is I love You know what I love about them the most? I do have to kiss their ass a little bit. Is the fact that I have said stupid shit like that, like to basically bring up that level of disgusting. But
you went
the
there.
The fact that they A, know I'm not being serious. B, you onesies know I'm not being serious. Right? I've basically, Jim, you haven't been listening to the podcast. I've gotten in shit from people who don't get context. But anyways, I don't know what. Oh, her. She doesn't listen to the podcast. Why are you bringing that shit up? You're not supposed to talk about that.
No, I'm saying that. Never mind.
Who is this texting me? That's probably you, actually.
What?
Anyway, I don't know. I got a text message here from someone. I don't know who it is. I was texting you. Anyways, my point being, guys, this week coming up. All right, what have I got going on? I'm going to try to get some writing done and prepare for the new podcast. I give a little shout out to it earlier
And
this
you're
week.
going to be calling for your tattoo appointment.
Yeah, if you guys send me stuff, contact the onemanpodcast.com. I'd love to know some tattoo
Are there anything
ideas.
that you wouldn't do?
It has to be long-term funny. It can't be like, I wouldn't put like a YOLO on me because it's like, that's not going to be around forever. Dude, the shit that was popular when we were young has changed 10 times over.
Like, would you get the word rad put on you?
No,
That's long-term funny.
I don't think it is. I don't think it's funny.
What would you consider funny? You got to give people like
I
an
said,
idea.
I'm not.
Or are you
the
literally
idea,
giving them a blank?
The idea, no. The idea I gave before, no. You guys have full canvas to do whatever you want, but it's not. I'm not going to just put it on because you send it. My thing is, I like the your name thing because it's funny and it's a joke that can be done over and over. I'm not going to do it. It's someone else's. But Steve-O having your name tattooed on his ass, so you can say to somebody, "I'll bet you $100 in a bar or whatever. I'll bet you $100 I have your name tattooed on my ass." Oh, you really? Yeah, I have your name tattooed on my ass. All right, let's $100. Take it down. Boom, your name. It's funny, even if you don't get the money or whatever. It's the idea is it's clever. It's sort of funny. Yeah.
I will never be on board with that.
You told me to put a pickle on my ass.
Because
Like,
I think that's funny.
that's fine. Hey, the comedy's subjective. So I'm saying, would I put something on my ass? Yeah. Like there's all sorts of like symbols, dates in my life that were particularly significant to me. You know, like putting all my people I care about's birthdays over my heart. You know, but at the same time, like what's that one? What's that? I don't give a fuck. Like there's nothing in my life that I've loved so much. You know what? I'm going to get yours and Mika's faces tattooed on my dick. No, I'm kidding. But all I'm
Each
saying,
ball sack right there.
each ball bag, I'll just put your guys' faces on, shave the fucking hair on it to match your current facial features.
You're disgusting.
That, you know what? If I could do that, that's probably that's my two best friends right there. You know, and as we all age, I go, it's even more representative
Happy
of your faces.
birthday, Mika.
Look, those things have more wrinkles on them. So do my friends. You were just getting older and hairier.
Got some crow.
My ball hair turns white. So does the hair in your beard and on your head. That's fucking hilarious. So yeah, if that wouldn't be excruciatingly painful, I would
What's
consider
the
doing
email
that.
I send this into?
Contact at onemanpodcast.com. So yeah, so coming up this week, guys, I have I got a gig going on Friday night for Absolute Comedy. I'm going to be doing more activations this weekend. I'm not looking forward to that. But I'll be out having fun in the sun, looking at more people's tattoos, trying to figure out where did society lose its originality.
Until you release your ball sack faces.
Yeah, exactly. Can't wait to get my fucking social accounts banned when I post those photos. Listen, I got new podcasts coming up, guys. I won't give you the details until I have more things solidified, but I am working on it, writing some new stuff. I'm excited to give you the details. I will tell you them as soon as I can, but right now I'm still working on logoing, intro music, the format of it. But I've already got the first guests booked for it. It's going to be an exciting thing. It is comedy related 100%. And I can't wait to share it with you. So, Jimmy, thank you for coming and being a part of this.
Yeah,
I really
man.
appreciate
Thanks
it. It was cool. We just sort of chatted today out of nowhere and made
Your
this happen.
live Facebook.
Yeah. That was me just not
chatting
wanting to be
around.
productive, but it was cool to chat with them.
And here you are being productive.
Yeah, man. Well, the podcast was happening no matter what, but I think we gave them a better episode. You being
Well, I
here.
appreciate you bringing me by.
Yeah, buddy. To all the ones who's listening, I appreciate you guys being here. I look forward to your tattoo submissions. Hopefully, you'll tell me what jobs you hate doing around the house and which ones you love doing. I'm just curious as to household tasks that people
But
love
make
doing
sure
and
that
why.
when they send it in, that it's like a definite. Like, I do not, and they do not.
Right. Yeah, I don't want to be like, you know what, I really don't like doing this, but so I try not to. No, if you're like, you know what, I absolutely fucking hate cleaning the vacuum cleaner. I hate going outside and weeding. I hate cleaning the bar. I don't give a fuck what it is. I just want to know what tasks around the house are you like, you know, if you basically ran into another partner, you know, in your life and you're like, you know what, this person here won't do it and I won't do it. Anyways, that kind of shit. Deal breaker type shit. All right. Until I talk to you guys again next time, I hope you have a great week. Don't work too hard. Don't have anxiety. Don't go blind when you're driving. And
if you do, it'll be all right.
it'll be all right. It'll be all right.
Everything will be irie.
Irie. All right. Talk to you guys soon.